Right, hello, good morning, and welcome to the show. This is Good Morning Ghana live on Metro TV. It's a Thursday, the 16th day of May, 2024. By His grace, we're live, and we're here. We're at another edition of the show. Our gratitude to go to the Most High God for the rare privilege of being alive, and of course, the opportunity of having another conversation around the top stories making rounds here in our dear Republic. I'll let you into our panel for the morning's conversation shortly, but let's take a look at the front pages of our newspapers. Daily Graphic. Hold duty bearers accountable. Journalists told at African Media Convention. Will restore Galamsey lands and forests. Mahama. MTN calls for rethink of tax structure. FinTech Summit highlights investment opportunities in Africa. The Ghanaian Times. Bank of Ghana, DBG, Proxtera support businesses. $100 million boost for MSMEs. Manufacturing to promote agri manufacturing, ICT and tourism. Government to grant tax exemptions on raw materials for local manufacturing of drugs and medical supplies. Forum to promote Africa media landscape opens in Accra. 159 Soko projects complete, 397 more under construction in 6 regions. Daily Guide. 70,000 smart tablets deployed to schools. Government releases 2 million Ghana cedis for kidney patients. Imani peddles falsehood, EC. $177 million Ghana cedis for next trainees allowance. The new crusading guide. You have my blessing to be president. Yagbonura to Baomia. Government releases 177 million cedis to pay nursing trainee allowances. Christian Divine Church to celebrate 65th anniversary. Government begins distribution of tablets under One Student, One Tablet initiative. Ghana Gas CEO not under pressure to sign $812 million deal. Residents of SAL were never disenfranchised in 2020 EC. The Insight. Protect state interest in Adamu's mining saga. Lands and Mining Watch tells government. Get fund cannot hold us to ransom, says creditor. Vows to relock Tia Ahmadiyya School. Collapse of Gihok. Other state-owned enterprises worrying. John Mahama. Ghana rated very expensive by tourists. The Daily Statesman. You are my full blessing as son. Gonja King assures Baomia. Akufo-Addo urges women judges to set precedents that protect the vulnerable. Ghana Gas denies external influence in GPP2 project award. DBG Proxtera signed $100 million deal to support MSMEs. The New Finder. Gonja King blesses Baomia to be the next president of Ghana. Mahama reveals AI-powered plan to combat Galamsey. Former NPRA boss raises alarm over looming retirement crisis. And that's about it for the front pages. We'll be back shortly. Right, welcome back to the show. If you just joined us, this is Good Morning Ghana live on Metro TV. With me on the show this morning, I have the Minister of Health designate, who's also the MPP parliamentary candidate for the Lejokuku constituency, Dr. Bernard Okoboy. Doc, good morning.
Good morning, Martin.
All right. Also with me on the show this morning is the Member of Parliament for the Ningo Prampram constituency, and he's also deputy ranking Communications Committee of the Parliament of the Republic of Ghana, the Honorable Sam Nate George. Honorable, good morning.
Morning, Manje. Dr. Manje. Member of the Omanye.
Okay.
Have
you seen you dressed like this in a while?
Andy, we are getting ready for the main action. You see, I'm not a happy man.
Why?
Randy, there are too many things that are going wrong in the country. See, yesterday,
yes,
I was in Takrady.
Okay.
Public accounts duties.
Okay.
We're doing the Western, North, and Central region.
Yes.
Then I get the call from my constituency. What's the problem? There's a huge crowd at the district office registering. And Samuel Tete.
Who is Samuel Tete?
Samuel Tete, Electoral Commission, has called my district director. I'm mentioning his name directly, Samuel Tete. Has called my district director that the numbers from Ningo Prampram are too much. So they should reduce the number of BVR kits that are registering.
No.
Oh.
No, Sam George. This is an extremely serious allegation.
Randy, and that's why I have mentioned Samuel Tete's name. He has your station's number.
Yes,
he can call in.
Yes, hold on.
When you know your name?
Hold on. You said you were in Takrady.
Yes.
So who told you this?
my team on the ground called me and told me that this is what has happened, because since the thing started, we've been using 3 machines.
Okay.
Yesterday, they got the director says 2 machines. They asked him why. He says order from above. I say, okay. I picked the phone and call my director.
Okay.
And say, I want to understand on what basis.
At
Electoral Commission. Yes.
Okay.
I want to understand on what basis you have reduced from 3 to 2 the registration kits. When you have a huge crowd of almost 300 people sitting there. He says, Honorable, this is the directive I've been given.
That's what he told you.
Yes. And again, this is not the first time.
Just hold on a minute. So we all follow.
He says, this is the directive I've been given.
Did you ask him who gave him the directive?
Yes, when I asked him who gave him the directive, he said his director. I said, which of your directors?
Yes.
Reluctantly, after pushing and doing all the data things,
yes.
He then said, well, Honorable, if you have any issue, call on my boss, Mr. Samuel Tete.
So if you have any issue.
If I have any issue, because he can't defy the orders given to him by his boss. Then I said, which of your boss? Say, if I have anything, I should call his boss, Samuel Tete.
Now, so hold on. So did you call Samuel Tete?
What should I call? I'm calling him here.
No, but that's not fair.
No, Randy, did Samuel Tete call me and call the NPP candidate before deciding, sitting in Accra and deciding that we don't deserve 3 machines in Ngo Prampa?
What if the district director was lying to you?
Samuel Tete should let us know.
I'm just saying that what if he was lying to you?
I don't believe he was that. What purpose does he say?
You never know.
Randy, this is not the first time. And that's what I was saying. On the second day, we sat there. First day, we all concluded that nobody got registered. We did only 13 registrations the whole day. Second day, when the machine started, we said, go offline. He said, Jim Mensah has told them that unless the regional director, in this case, the regional director gives permission, and he must also get the directive from Jim Mensah, they can't go offline. We sat, even though, don't forget, on the first day, Jim Mensah had issued a statement saying that as soon as the thing goes off again, they will switch to offline. We had to sit for 4 hours before Jim Mensah gave the directive for them to switch offline. Randy, no ko yanoe. And you see, if people are afraid to say it, me, I'll say it. When you look at the Ghana Statistical Service, the population census, and you see the population of people who have just turned 18 in Greater Accra, and the same in the Ashanti region, there is no reason why the Ashanti region figures in this registration should be exceeding Greater Accra.
Why?
Because there are more people who have turned 18 in Greater Accra than in Ashanti region.
Yeah, but registration is not compulsory.
But Randy, who told you the people of Greater Accra are not going to register? We are going to register. The problem is that look, the EC servers are sitting in Greater Accra. We are having connection and network issues in Greater Accra, connecting between Greater Accra and the server room. But Ashanti region is not having problems connecting to Greater Accra. Meaning, and our baby alone, our bull.
No, but my question to you is, why didn't you call Mr. Samuel Tete?
Randy, first and foremost, I don't even have his number.
But you should have taken the number from
Randy. I have come here to come and lodge my complaint.
Sam George, if you want...
Jim Mensah is watching, Samuel Tete is watching.
If you want Samuel Tete's number,
yes,
it is something you can get in 5 minutes.
Yes.
So it
I'm
means
making my case.
You decided not to.
Why should I have to call Samuel Tete and beg
from him? Maybe he has some possible reason.
There is no sensible reason apart from the fact that Samuel Tete wants to engage in registration suppression with his boss Jim Mensah.
So how did you resolve the issue?
Yesterday.
How did you resolve it?
We couldn't resolve it. 2 machines. Today to the same thing.
You're saying
and yesterday over 100 people who showed up at Ngo Pram district had to go back.
So you're saying that when the exercise started,
yes,
there were 3 machines deployed.
3. In fact, apart from the 3, we had 2 that went out as mobile machines for 2 days.
So there were 3 machines
at the district office. Yes.
And then there were 2 mobile ones.
The mobile there, they've cancelled them. They say, okay, no more mobile.
And then
I didn't complain.
And then you're saying that yesterday, the machines reduced from 3 to 2.
Yes.
You got a call from your team.
Yes.
So you called the district director.
Yes.
The district director says that it's order from above.
That's the instruction he's been given, yes.
And that if you want any explanation, call Mr. Samuel Tete.
Yes.
But you haven't called Mr. Samuel Tete?
No.
Okay. Annie, get us Mr. Samuel Tete.
I'm grateful.
Right. Yes.
Yeah, no be a com center.
Okay.
They a communication center.
Can I be your com center? No one might be a living.
Oh, he's made allegations against the person.
No,
but we didn't know. We were all here off air. He didn't mention this, so we didn't know that he was going to say what he said. Once he has mentioned the man's name, let's give the man.
He said he's coming to you. You wanted to call the man from your show. I said, is this place a com center?
Then I be a com center.
He's to your left.
You see,
suit pumping. You sure no? Suit naked. I wore suit naked. Yeah.
You also wear double-breasted suits.
Okay,
maybe Onani was suit. One shot na beer. Maybe Onani was suit. Maybe last time Onani was suit. Come on, suit there. I don't need Eba Male Parliament.
The
show na no ba now only ake challenge show na you boy. Come on no. JB Akufado atimbi Akufado Pauli Akufado breast pocket ehwe no pe keke wona bo ake etobo ojoba
osofo nyemu Kenya
come on sauce no ngba camera yo the camera na sauce
le jebe so ma wo le ni na je
elder ni we mo yu emi ni yo okay
ni we mo mini ko we mo
o tun awie to elder
Ona apostle Paul a letter dey ma ke aso mo me.
Roger.
E go be try am stiff neck vipers.
A rate of foot evangelist.
Monitor. Ah, elder. E get small. Bile.
To le man che le we do fu.
Doc, let me say a very good morning.
Yes.
I mean, first of all, I think I don't know whether sometimes it has to do with the opposition depression syndrome.
Okay. Are you talking from experience?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
When you're in opposition, there are times when you wake up, the world is not nice. Even when you get good food, you don't feel like eating. Just remembering that you are in opposition is depressing sometimes. So, because of that, I would understand my brother, but we still urge him to be calm and focus on the details, like you advised. If you go to my place, they also have issues. If security issues come, I try to get to the district commander. If issues come with the electoral process itself, I try to reach out to. And, you know, Honorable George is not a small fish in the country. He's a big man, a member of parliament, anti-gay crusader.
Deputy ranking, a communications expert, a lot of things. And an elder at Perez Chapel. So with all this portfolio, Doc, if you even call Jim Mensa herself that you wanted this money, so I like to urge him to try and talk to these people. And sometimes, you know, the report can be mischievous. And already we know that your place, your party is quite strong. You know, so it's your call like after be a low ball idea.
But 100,000 votes.
Fair. So I like to urge my brother and all the political players. Let's be calm. Let's focus on the details. Let's get to those in charge. And you know, Doc, let me give you an example. If I have an EC officer or district boss who is acting funny, when I make my approaches, go above him to the region, national, I'm not getting a response. That's when I'll put out a proper statement or even take them on, all using procedures. So let's use that route instead of, because some folks who like you might think after watching this show, hey, Doc, we don't want
You mentioned Shishiwo.
Listen, but Doc told you, he's our big brother, he's advising. You have to go into the details, verify
I've gone into the details.
Don't go to details. I have a call.
Actually,
let's all be, what's the word? We should be vigilant. We should act with a lot of, how do you call it? I don't know whether to use maturity, but we should be calm. It doesn't mean calm but not concerned. We should be concerned, go into details. And if, like, my brother had brought details of checks is made, calls is made to Mr. Samuel Tete, reasons given, not tenable and all that, then I would have even been your advocate this morning.
I want all of us to listen to the phone call. Jamie care, Jele care. They should really call him.
One of your constituents, Kofi T, he says, my former MP, Honorable Kubo, is talking from experience. He may be suffering from parliamentary opposition syndrome, POS. All right, so if you're thinking of getting a toothpaste that can take care of the entire family, top quality and affordable, look no further. The recommended family toothpaste is Kel 360 toothpaste. This is approved by the Food and Drugs Authority. Kel 360 toothpaste provides you and your family with all-round dental protection throughout the day with freshness. Kel 360 toothpaste is good for kids, children, and adults. Let your family be a proud family when they step out by constantly using Kel 360 toothpaste. Kel 360 toothpaste brightens your teeth, prevents cavity, and with its cool mint gives you fresh breath throughout the day and protects the gum from decaying. For consistency and quality, use Kel 360 toothpaste. Kel 360 toothpaste is another product from Samara Company Limited, producers of Sasso. Is available in all supermarkets, malls, and provision shops. Call Samara Company on 0246 864798. Kel 360 toothpaste, happy smile. And enjoying the fruits of your labor is as important as enjoying the mansions of your labor. The pains of climbing the stairs when not exercising could be challenging irrespective of your age. But worry no more. Lift and elevators have got you covered with the best portable American pneumatic vacuum elevators on the market today. It's a simple self-supported elevator for both homes and offices, and guess what? It can lift your goods too. Wheelchairs can fit in, and they come in 3 custom-made models. It's affordable and can be installed within 3 days. Visit Lift and Elevators at Sakumon or just call them on 0200535515 or send a mail to elevatorsgh@gmail.com for consultations and the best solutions in easy vertical movement. All right. So, Samuel, when are you guys going back to Parliament?
Our recall date there, we don't know. But there is an emergency recall tomorrow we're supposed to do a one-day sitting. I'm sure it's to approve Okoboy and his people and then approve loans. There's some garage 200 million or 150 million that they've been chasing us that we should approve for them. So, I mean, that's really why they're calling us, but this is to approve them. That's why they couldn't do it earlier on because they didn't have the numbers. They had to wait and do a GISU. So tomorrow they were going just one day. But Randy, even that one, there are issues that we need to discuss. There are critical issues that Parliament needs to look at because, you see, I am worried that the Speaker is calling Parliament to come and consider business of the President, business from the Executive, that the President has written to Parliament, telling Parliament that he's nominated Okoboy and a few other people, and we are coming to listen to it. I'm going to stand tomorrow and tell the Speaker that Parliament has no business listening or responding to any request from the President.
Why?
We should render the President persona non grata and ask the clerk. I'm going to demand from the Speaker tomorrow that the clerk of Parliament writes a letter to the President and his Executive Secretary, issuing a cease and desist warning to them that they should cease and desist from writing any communication to the Parliament of Ghana. Randy, look, and the Speaker must take this very seriously. Parliament is not an appendage of the President's office as Executive President. And the President is behaving like a monarch. He's behaving as though he's an absolute monarch who is both executive, legislative, and judiciary all in one. But that's not who he is. That's why you see him tell chiefs to stand up and greet him. And now he thinks that he can write to Parliament, a constitutional body, and tell Parliament that our constitutional mandate, which is that Parliament must transmit its work to his office, they have the effrontery to write to us and tell Parliament that we should cease and desist. And you have a pliant judiciary that is in the pocket of the Executive. Randy, the facts must be stated forcefully in this country. Look, we must be straight in this country.
Sammy, there's a difference between speaking fearlessly and stating the facts.
Yes.
There is no basis for you to assert that the judiciary is in the pocket of the Executive.
Shall I tell you? I have basis. On Monday, 23rd of April, there was a meeting in the office of the President. The President was present. He was there. He met members of my coalition that worked on the LGBTQ bill with me. The heads of the Methodist Church, the head of the Presbyterian Church, the Catholic Archbishops Conference president were all present in that meeting. And in that meeting, the Deputy Attorney General, Asunadapa, told them that they should relax because the court case that Richard Sky and Amanda Odoy have filed will not be completed until after the elections this year, until next year. Since when did the executive...
Were you in that meeting?
I wasn't. And that's why I have mentioned people. And again, if the Church of the Catholic Bishops Conference president is there, he's not someone we don't know. Randy, and I'm very careful what I'm doing. I'm mentioning their names because they stood up to him and said, but Mr. President, the other cases that went, Richard Roxin Dafia-Mekpo's case, went also after Richard the last guy's own. The Supreme Court was able to hear it quickly. Why can't they hear this one? They challenged him on it. And that's what I'm saying. There are people who we know. I said the head of the Methodist Church was there.
Yeah, but how does that statement by the Attorney General buttress the point you make that the judiciary is in the pocket of the executive?
Randy, we can either choose...
There was no member of the judiciary at the meeting, as you have said.
Randy.
No member of the judiciary has made that statement.
Randy, they don't need to make the statement. Their actions need to tell us. The fact that the Chief Justice could hear Roxanne's case, which went weeks after Richard Delaskai's own and Amanda Odoy's case, and then the Attorney General is strong enough to tell heads of churches that the case would only be completed next year. Since when did the Attorney General or his deputies know what the timing of court cases in our country, in our court, ought to be? And Randy, this thing, we can choose to play the ostrich here. You can say, Sam, it's not right, Sam, withdraw it. But everybody knows in this country that nobody trusts our judiciary. And we must begin to speak in that manner. But you have still not given
me evidence that...
I have given you evidence.
No, you've still not given me evidence.
The fact that the Attorney General can tell... No, Randy, the fact that the President himself did not stop the Deputy Attorney General when she made those comments and said, no, you cannot make that case, means that the President himself is complicit.
Yeah, but
and I've given you the dates of the meeting.
It's still not
evidence. Maybe, Randy, it's not evidence enough for you. For me, it is enough to prove to me that our Attorney General seems to have an overwhelming influence on what even the determination of a case will be.
So Sam,
a case before the judiciary.
Sam, the point I'm making to you is that I cannot stop you from forming an opinion on the basis of what you know.
Yes.
But it is not appropriate and not right for you, on the basis of that, to make an emphatic statement.
That
I have a problem. And I think that you need to withdraw that.
That what?
That the judiciary is in the pocket of the executive. I've given you the opportunity to demonstrate that. You have not provided me with any evidence. If you're saying that ABCD happened, on the basis of that, you have formed an opinion that A is A, I will not fault you. I hope you appreciate the point.
So Randy, what you are saying is that I should say that my opinion is that we have a pliant...
I'm saying that you made an emphatic statement.
Yes, that I believe that our judiciary is in the pocket.
That emphatic statement is not backed by evidence. Kindly withdraw it.
Randy, I withdraw it, but I can make my opinion made known to you, right? So I've withdrawn the statement you find... You think that I have not formed basis for. I believe that based on what I have seen and what the Ghanaian people know and what we all know, your constituents know that our courts. And Randy, you see, I'm saying, look, we in this country, the president. I'm sitting here and criticizing the president. We criticize the president. He's the head of the executive. We criticize the Speaker of Parliament. He's the head of the legislature. Why people think that we cannot criticize the judiciary? There is nowhere in our constitution where it says that we cannot hold the judiciary to high account. Is it not the same judiciary that themselves have admitted and punished their own judges who are able to take contumely and goats to give judgment?
Yeah, but Sam George, I hope you are not suggesting that I have said that you cannot criticize the work of the judiciary.
I'm not saying that's what you said. I'm just saying that I'm establishing the fact that it is not wrong to criticize the judiciary, because the judiciary itself has not clothed itself in glory.
No, Sam, nobody has done that. And I have had cause to critique some decisions of the judiciary.
Yes.
So
I'm happy we're on all fours.
That's why I said that. My issue with you, what I asked you to withdraw, is the statement that the judiciary is in the pocket of the executive. I think that
I have done.
Yes.
Which I have done.
Yeah.
But Randy, the fact must be stated that nobody in this, let me not say nobody, majority of Ghanaians, majority of reasonable Ghanaians have no faith and trust in our justice delivery system. Justice appears to be for the rich and powerful in our country, and that in itself is a big threat to our democracy. And so I believe that Parliament must not entertain anything, because can the President Secretary write a cease and desist to the judiciary, to the Chief Justice? Yet they write to Parliament. Then that same President is going to turn around and write to us and tell us he's traveling, and we will take his document and work with it. If the President would treat Parliament with contempt, Parliament must treat him with contempt equally. Because you see, Parliament remains the only bastion. And Randy, I keep saying that when we say we have a democracy, the whole democracy we talk about, democracy, it is Parliament too. It is not the executive, it is not the judiciary. Because when you have a military ruler or a military hunter in control, the executive remains and the judiciary remains. The only thing that is not present in the military dictatorship that is present in a democracy is Parliament. And so when the president continues to undermine or attempts to use his actions to undermine the independence, we must begin to call out the president and say that the president himself is acting in ways that are unconstitutional. And when the president says, and you see, the reason I'm asking myself the questions about the judiciary, Roxin goes to the same Supreme Court and says, I want an injunction on the Speaker of Parliament. He should not approve Okoboy and his colleagues. In less than a month, the Chief Justice empanels a panel, puts a panel up and says, oh, we are throwing your case out unanimously. Why? Because, and on this one, I must state, the Supreme Court and the Chief Justice were correct in their interpretation of the law. That you cannot place an injunction or stop a constitutional body from doing its constitutionally mandated business. So Parliament is supposed to, as a constitutional body, review appointments of the president. In fact, that's what the Constitution says. So the Supreme Court says we cannot stop Parliament from doing it. Yet that same Supreme Court is dancing around, doing musical chairs, in determining whether the president can stop Parliament from fulfilling its mandate in Article 1066. What kind of hypocrisy is this? Which kind of country are we running? Is this a banana republic? Look, our agencies of state, be they the executive, be it Parliament, and be it the judiciary, need to begin to rise above the fray and need to begin to act as though we hold the offices that we hold in trust for the Ghanaian people, not because we are better than the Ghanaian people. But you see that attitude of, I am this, I am that. You are the Chief Justice, I'm a judge of the Supreme Court, so what? Is it not the Ghanaian people who pay you? Should you not work in the interest of the Ghanaian people? And should the Ghanaian people not have a right to demand that you work in their interest? They dangle that thing of contempt over everybody and think that they'll use that to gag everybody. No. It is not constitutional. There is nowhere in the Constitution where it says that we cannot hold a view that is critical of our judiciary. And we must come to that place where we demand of every public office holder who is paid with our taxes that they act in the interest of Ghana and not in the interest of anybody. Not in the interest of the NDC, not in the interest of the NPP, in the interest of Ghana.
Are you going to approve Okoboy and his people?
Hello, I vote here. No?
You vote?
Me, Jemojino, I don't know what my leadership is going to say.
Okay.
But left to me, Oba vote here mofiamono. Okwa nyamini, she enele Oba vote here mofiamono. Ke amena 138, 137 ebatom. She will vote me but I don't know what my leadership, when we get there, if our leaders say we should go and say, yeah, we'll follow the leaders. But if you ask me, Sam George, we should vote on every single one of them. And in fact, I think that the Speaker of Parliament, again, let me use your platform. Mr. Speaker, the documents that came to you asking for the recall of Parliament, have you asked the clerk to verify the signatories to be sure that people actually sign that document? You know, parliaments, our standing order say that we can be recalled if you have 15% of members of parliament sign a document to recall us. And I'm not saying anything, but I'm just saying that maybe the speaker may be interested to ask our generals and Hansa departments to verify the signatures on the document that came to him, to see if those signatures are genuine. Maybe now, maybe.
Anje. Send Mokomomo if you.
Oh, send Momo.
Can
you imagine?
Manche, Elena,
a TV no, send Momo.
Emergency. Only well, Bolomo.
But I know what you mean. Hey, Naki, Ochon flag, no, means Sahabo, because this one that you were carrying is not Ghana flag. Send Bobo yet TV though.
Manche, she go on jail Bolomo.
Chica, Niaka was
Moko ngabe wale. Listen,
health insurance card.
Oh, okay, some no kuna kwa hili.
Okay, hospital. Oh, na health insurance say no kweno. Oh, na health insurance say health insurance egbule. Former national health insurance boss. Your own constituent needs to go to hospital. You can't go with your health insurance card.
On behalf of the Gadangwe Council, please pardon us.
Manje.
Yes.
Me, if you're medical outreach, I don't go with only medicines. Sometimes I go with small coins of food, prepared food.
Yes.
Okay. You're a politician. You don't just send people to go and rob. You give them some food.
So the health insurance can't take care of you alone in the hospital?
Health insurance buys food also for you when you go to the hospital.
You said the person is going to hospital, the wife is sick, they need to go to the hospital. Yeah, so going to the hospital, see not the health insurance card that's supposed to present, if the health insurance card was working well.
Let me, but this morning I'm having a very interesting conversation. I'm sure that...
What's yours?
I'm sure that in the last couple of days you've heard about the listing of Atlantic Lithium on the Ghana Stock Exchange, of course, and all the buzz around it. So this morning the chief executive of Minerals Commission, who's all buzzing about this development, is going to be here with me. But interestingly, we also, apart from him, going to have the boss of the Ghana Stock Exchange, Madame Abnamwa, also with us on the show. So our time with the Minerals Commission will have both the CEO of the Minerals Commission and the boss of the Ghana Stock Exchange. So it promises to be interesting. At 10:15, we'll have that discussion. Oko,
you know,
let me just remind you that you are yet to be approved. So be careful.
You know, I have observed that when the president or any political actor, especially a political figure within this government, shows or demonstrates an opinion or indicates an opinion which is not in harmony with that of the NDC or, let's say, my brother Sam George, they go very emotional, they go very wild, they go so. But democracy, the essence of democracy is that people, whether in or out of government, should be able to express their positions and views. Even if it is so wrong, they are not evil for expressing their views. And the other wonderful thing about democracy is that you are told you can speak your mind. But there are ways or levels to that when you cross, you can get into trouble. In that same democratic dispensation. Why did they do that? They did that because they know talk, speeches, and opinions can throw the whole system out of gear and bend a country. They are aware. And they also put the constitution in place. But I mean, with all due respect, they've been through some judges' experience and age and everything, and they've traveled 40 years down the line ahead of him. Most of the people. What did I mean? I'm not saying that is the modus operandi I adopt, but let's assume the worst case. There's a letter from the Secretary to the President on behalf of the President telling Parliament that, in my opinion, let's assume that it's even wrong. There is a case in court, and in order not to, have a situation where a court is determining a matter, and I'm also receiving a document to sign. Don't send me the documents. Keep it until the court has finished. Let's assume that position is so wrong. Let's assume. Democracy allows it. So the next thing is that what is the cure? A letter could have emanated also from Parliament saying that ABC are the reasons you gave. They don't hold. Yeah, no more giddy. And then we are going to
Quite a number of our viewers are sending text messages to say that they don't understand Ghana.
Yes.
And one of them is Anti-Faustino.
Are you aware?
Who's been a crowd in life?
Anti-Faustino, so that one
she was the first complainant.
Are you aware any non-Ghana you meet came to our land?
I don't understand what you're saying.
Anyone you meet in Accra,
okay,
who is not a Ghana, we are actually hosting those people. But you are aware.
Meaning what?
Meaning
what?
Custodians of the land. Oh. Manche. So I want George to understand that democracy allows you.
Let me read this text message from Kojo Buafu, who I always say wakes up that early to watch us from the United States. He says, criticism of the judiciary by individuals is a complex issue. In a democratic society, individuals have the right to freedom of speech and expression, which includes criticizing the judiciary. This helps hold the judiciary accountable for their actions and decisions. However, criticism should be constructive and respectful, without undermining the authority and integrity of the judiciary. The judiciary plays a crucial role in upholding the rule of law. An unfounded or malicious criticism can erode trust in the legal system. Criticism that scandalizes or obstructs the judiciary's functioning can be considered contempt of court, which is punishable by law. The judiciary's independence is essential for impartial decision-making. Criticism that aims to influence or intimidate judges can compromise this independence. Individuals have the right to criticize the judiciary, but this right comes with a responsibility to do so in a respectful and constructive manner, without compromising the integrity and independence of the judiciary. This is from Kojo Buafu.
Kojo Buafu.
In the United States.
Yeah. No, the guy thinks like me.
Eh?
The guy reasons like me. This is exactly the position I hold on these matters. He's a very smart guy. Doc. So the point I want to make, which your gentleman has summarized nicely, is that if I went to the dictionary to check, George used an expression, a phrase, planned judiciary. It's a presec. So
no more.
George. But it looks like presec. Dog, easily bent.
Yes.
Easily influenced.
Yes.
Or directed.
Yes.
Yielding.
Yes.
This is how some George is describing Ghana's judiciary now.
Yes.
And I've written another expression, we can't criticize the judiciary. And you reminded him, nobody said you cannot criticize the judiciary. But look, why would the same people who said the essence of democracy is that we can speak or talk freely, put in a clause that don't cross some lines? This is where we all go when we have an issue. In fact, if we go for the what's the word expression? The most sensitive or critical activity in this country is going for an election to elect the president. When there is conflict at the highest level, the place which is mandated or given authority to say that this guy is president and this guy is not, it's not parliament, it's not executive, it's the judiciary. Now, if the place where you go for decisions that are critical and sensitive, you sit behind and go like, these people are all rubbish, don't trust their judgment, these guys are influenced, in fact they are being directed from somewhere. No, the danger is that nobody would be going there for conflict resolution, and then you have a chaotic society where people resolve conflicts through either violence, chaos, or other means.
So, Ogo, can we flip the coin of what you just said?
Yeah.
Okay. That in view of how important that establishment is, and how that is where all unresolved conflicts can be resolved.
Yes.
Is that not also a reason why that institution and those who have the opportunity of being in that institution or working in that institution also have a greater responsibility to act in ways that engender confidence and trust, and not give the slightest indication that they, okay, I don't want to use pliant, that you know, people cannot trust that institution for what the institution is meant to be?
Doc, I don't know how to put this, but when the Constitution, 92 Constitution was being drafted, with all due respect, the government that was in power, the one that supervised the process, more or less, put everything in place and order. The antecedent is that of the NDC. You get what I mean? Look, I have a serious problem. And if they are suffering anything today, they are a victim of their own creation. I don't want to say conspiracy, but creation and schemes.
Explain that.
Yes. Why would you put a constitution together that says that the Chief Justice should be nominated by the head of the executive? There's a serious problem with that.
Okay.
Why do you put together a constitution that says that the IGP, the man who handles security in the whole country, should be nominated by the president? Why do you put in place a constitution that says that the one who will be in charge of the game, the football match, that determines who a president is, should be nominated by the sitting president? It's because that time they thought they were trying to do things to favor someone, not favor, but like to make someone who was there happy. Doc, Ghana, I've always said it, if this country will mean business, these things should have changed or be removed long time. But because, granted, what we have currently is what we have. Doc, have you realized that sometimes an elder can tell you, usually when you come to this house, knock first. There's a rule, sometimes there are rules. Then one day, when you knock, that same elder can tell you that you shouldn't have knocked. You see, sometimes there are rules on paper. Those, and forgive me, they say that they call them lords, Doc. Look, it's because of politics sometimes make a lot of noise. Those who have been in this game for long, when you see someone on the Supreme Court, before they get there, no matter what you have against them, they are not fools, they are not simple men. The Bible normally uses the word simple. A simple man is one who is not complex, who is easy. The mind is not sophisticated. Anyone on the Supreme Court in any country is not a fool. They have complex minds. There are times when they take a decision in the interest of the whole country. If you ask them, why did you take this? Sometimes you don't get. And let me give you a classical example. I'm saying this so that George will understand that democracy is a complex experiment. It's not straight like that. When we went to the Supreme Court in 2012, I sat down because I watched the proceedings, Doc, meticulously. I was very, I paid a lot of attention. Then, just before the judgment came, before the day of the judgment, I told a friend that, see, judges in arriving at a judgment, they behave like someone who is working an equation in two variables. They will show you all the procedure and processes that will arrive at the answer. And that this was what I predicted. I told the fellow that this court, if they should go by the lines and proceedings we've watched, must come to the place where they will say the sitting president is not a president. But this is my opinion then and my prediction. A decision like that, the ramifications for the country could be so dire that this court would like to have an answer which will not match the equation. No, this is my analysis. And so I told the fellow, watch out. The biggest task for this court now is to come and tell us JM is still president, but to show us how they arrived there. Those equations that you show how they arrived didn't come. They didn't read, like other judgment words, sometimes they read the content of how they arrived. 5-4, 6-4, 3-4. I feel like to the extent that later the results were wrong. They had to come and correct it.
Yeah, but this thing is available.
Oh, it came. But that's why I'm talking about wisdom.
No, but judges do that all the time.
No, I know. But by the time the results, of course,
no,
if the man.
Be careful, because you're also impugning.
Oh, no. I mean, any judge who is watching me, my position where I'm going is not. I said that.
You know why I'm saying that? Because you see, after that judgment, there was this thing that was held. I've forgotten a venue, whether National Theatre or whatever.
Yes.
And they took the decision of the judges. Some of the people who today, I see them write on social media and ask for people to be hauled before the Supreme Court and others. That thing they did and took the judgment and got people who they say were legal, whatever, to come and analyze and show which judge was wrong and how they did what and used all manner of adjectives against them. Yes.
Look, my point is that I have not said judges are pliable, they are malleable, they cannot. No, but the point I'm making is that it would have been a difficult task. Look at the criticism. If they had read how they arrived at the decision and on the same day mentioned the decision, and I'm telling you that to give your justification or the breakdown later, things would have settled. This is my position. So my wish was that, and there are many cases where a judge takes time to read how, at least the executives, they arrive at their decision. This is the point I'm making. This is the kind of criticism your friend in the US told you. Take the matter, go to line by line, show how you did not agree. I'm telling you the sequence. The sequence I preferred was read the justification and give me the results. But at the same time, I saw the wisdom. The wisdom was that.
Are you saying that? Let me just clear this thing because people are also watching.
Yeah.
So impressions and all that. Are you saying that when eventually you saw the basis for the decision, you could not reconcile the basis of the verdict?
Yeah, for me,
you couldn't.
Yes, I couldn't.
So what you're saying is that the basis and the decision
they don't
tally.
Excellent. Doc.
So what did the judge? So in that case, the judges were what, pliant?
No, but Doc, any lawyer who takes, but this is so basic. Any lawyer who takes a judgment and says I don't agree with the judgment, basically what they are telling you is that the cases made by the judge in arriving at the decision, they don't agree with the cases. Yeah. They have, they think otherwise. Maybe the judge referred to this article, they think it could have been. So that is what they mean by criticizing a court, Doc. It is to go for the details, and then when you pick this argument, show the other argument. Are you know what I'm saying? So, as for saying that you don't agree with the decision of a court and going to the details, and in fact, the reason why reviews is good, this has come to mind. The reason why sometimes a judge will give a judgment, and upon review, the decision is overturned. It's because the disagreement made at the earlier point is argued at a higher point and bought by the others. Is that not it? Yes, or like a position in your. But look, Doc, this judge is my brother. Sanefi, careful. Some of the comments he's made here. Listen, if the audio is given to the judiciary, he's called, he will be in trouble. I'm telling you.
What has he said?
Inke is my brother.
What have I said?
You
see, don't go there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's move.
No.
Are you the host? Actually,
let him finish. Yes.
No. So there are immediate solutions, medium term and long term. Look, the medium to long term way to address this issue. This issue of today, the issue is this. Someone sees a fair woman at an MPP program in a mask, then it goes on social media that Jimensa is here, and it's because of how they come into office, as in what the Constitution puts in place. The medium to long term is that let's quickly fix this Constitution. Let's do the amendments now and change all these things. You are scared of security, that it is biased towards this government. You are scared. And if you time let's stop treating the symptoms and go for the cause. George, the last time I told you I wanted you to help me push through some recommendation. I don't know whether it's there. That the only reason why there's a lot of violence, I told George, at coalition centers. Look, this is the third election I'm going. I told you. It's because if you have even won, and the EC officer in declaring fortress and says that instead of Okoboy is George, it can take 3 years to correct that. So I told George that, George, let's have, I don't know the phone to go, that in 90 days, maximum, like the way they do the presidential, a matter on parliamentary should be resolved.
The parliamentary too there was some amendments to that effect.
I don't know if they've done anything on that yet.
Because you are my senior brother. Most of the violence occurred at coalition centers. I'm telling you the source.
Okay.
If this country, and you see, that's why I want us to go past some things quickly. Some things should not make us argue because we are growing. Things like fighting at the coalition center. The way to clear it quickly is to have a clear law that says that in 90 days, a court must resolve the matter. Look, you know, if they say that these elections, I'll not even go to the police station, I'll go and sleep. Because I'm telling you, once I have my foundation documents, Doc,
you know right? That you
yes, it's simple arithmetic.
And that it won't be 4 years.
Yes, okay. Doc. But now, people are ready to kill at the police station. In fact, I will not mention the political party. Some political parties tell their people, go and mass up at the police station. And no, this world, we don't think the same.
So use the military.
Exactly. So, Doc, quickly, as a country, some things which have showed their heads over time, that shows that we are thinking. We must quickly clear them off our way.
Right.
And the law must come because we have a history. In fact, that's why people go there. We all go with the mind that, if anything happens, you are finished. And I think the law can help us to resolve
right.
that.
Okay.
Randy, just a quick one.
Yes.
And following from Kojo's message to us and the shenanigans that Oko has done, including going to the dictionary, I have not crossed any line. You understand me?
But the law is not you.
Oh, wait. And why? Yes, the judges have the ultimate decision to make, but why? Would you think that they would just make a decision and that is the end of it? Absolutely not. There are consequences for every decision that anybody takes. Look, let us not play the ostrich in this country. I'm reading the last Afrobarometer report, reported by Daily Graphic, published on the 26th of July 2022. The Ghana Police Service and the Office of the President, President Akufo-Addo, are perceived to be the most corrupt institutions in Ghana. The most trusted institutions are the Ghana Armed Forces, religious leaders, and traditional rulers. Now, this is what it says. A survey conducted by the Afrobarometer study undertaken by Ghana Center for Democratic Development, CDD Ghana, indicated that the police scored 65%, which placed it at the top of the table of corruption, while the presidency, and in this case of Akufo-Addo and Bawumia, followed in second position with 55%. The Director of Research of CDD Ghana, Dr. Edem Salome, presented highlights of the survey at the second round of dissemination forum in Accra Tuesday, July 26, 2020. The key findings of the report show that the perception of corruption among public officials and public institutions have increased in 2022 compared to 2019. Among key public officials found corrupt, or the most corrupt, are the police, the presidency, MPs, members of parliament, judges, magistrates.
MPs most corrupt.
MPs and judges and magistrates and tax officials are most widely perceived as corrupt. This is scientific research. So if we say that the perception about our judiciary, which they are not doing anything actively, in my opinion, to deal with, is one of corruption.
In the last 30 years, almost every Chief Justice has raised that issue.
Randy, if I sit here and say that the attitude of the Supreme Court or of our judges is questionable, when they themselves have raised those issues, how can you say that what I'm saying is contempt of the court? I am raising the same issues. It's like the greater issue. Where greater in Kama, I'm a money laundry, a greater, I can buy a court. They themselves have come around now and said that money laundry is a problem for them. So if any judge will sit in this country and say that the judiciary has clothed itself in glory, and that the judiciary we have today in Ghana is one where people can go freely, hoping that they will get justice, that person is not being true to their God and their calling.
Thousands of people go to the judiciary every day.
Randy.
Thousands.
Randy. People take people to court. But right now, talk to the ordinary Ghanaian on the ordinary Kojo or Kwame. He will tell you, me court. Because you know that if you don't have money, call Beshka. And you go to court, come on, okay. This is the reality. But Randy, I beg you, wait. On the pliant issue. Why? When I said that the judiciary is being pliant, and I give you instances of it, you can go and take a dictionary definition of the word. Words are used in context. And so if a judiciary is not acting in a way that engenders the belief of trust and independence, look, I'm sure even our Chief Justice today, Getrutokono, will tell you that one of the biggest challenges she has will be to make use the word independence and our judiciary in the same sentence. because she's trying to build that in the judiciary, because there is that lack of trust in the independence of our judiciary. So when we speak the truth, look, you talk about dealing with the illness and not the symptom. That's what you said. If you want us to be nice and placate the judiciary and paint it in fine colors, when the middle of it is rotten, then we're not dealing with the malaise. If we want to fix this country and fix the judiciary of this country, we must be able to point out what the weaknesses of the judiciary are. That in itself is not meant to take people's trust in the judiciary away. But it is an admittance of the fact that there's a problem and we fix it.
Oko makes the point that if you have a planned judiciary,
yes,
you ought to even look at a mode of appointing people onto the judiciary, because that perhaps could be the route for having a planned and not an independent judiciary. And therefore,
with the exception of the first general, with the exception of the first parliament, which is actually what also sat and created this constitution that is the problem. The parliament in the history of the Fourth Republic that has had an overwhelming majority that any president who was so minded could have gone ahead to work on was the seventh parliament that he was part of. They had an overwhelming majority, 169 to 106.
92, where I go.
So I'm saying, but
he says apart from the first
apart from 92, 92, no,
experiment.
No, it was an experiment.
So
the point I'm making here, Randy, let me just make this point, is that you see, Oko can't sit here and try to paint a picture as though somebody had, when his president had the opportunity, when he was in parliament, in the seventh parliament, I was there with him. What steps did they take to fix the problem? Men any 137 you know you are going out of government. You are now passing the back. You see, this is the problem of the NPP. The problems of this country, they never fix it. They come, they gloss over it. And when they finish glossing over it, then they say, oh, NDC, you are coming, come and fix it. And now, John Mahama, I can tell you.
Right.
Oh, John Mahama, when he comes and fix the country, then you people come and mess it up again.
All right. Okay, so the Honorable Nilante Van der Poel, he says, please respectfully tell Okoboy that he should point his fingers to his own people. Maybe he's not aware that we're having these problems with the Constitution because the selfish and greedy NPP people ask their people to abstain from the crafting of that Constitution. If those people from his persuasion had been part, they would have helped this country have a better document as is intimating. But there's one from his Dr. Manche Bruce.
Hey,
Takadi Technical University.
Takadi Technical University came before the Public Accounts Committee. Okay. I would have been happy to greet you.
Okay,
there.
So he sent this one, and why are you going to say something?
Okay.
So he sent this one, and
concluding comments.
Okay, you say it before I read this one. Finish.
I wanted to make the point that in most countries, when you look at justice delivery, more often than not, those who are connected or powerful seem to get away with some things or get their way. Every country works hard to make sure that the ordinary and vulnerable get justice. Doc, if you assess Ghana since Nkrumah, there are many occasions where the weak and vulnerable have found it difficult to get justice. And that's why we have action aid and the government takes certain steps. If you are speaking about it looks like justice is now for the rich and powerful, that one we are all with you. Doc, that one even I would join my forces with you and all that. But where a politician, forgive me, is looking for his interest or is looking for power and goes at decisions by a court and is also global in the attack. Global meaning that you don't even mention the specifics and show us what you think. That one I have a problem with you. But for the vulnerable, the rich, the rich and powerful having their way, that one we are not for it. But he's a politician, and in most of these matters, it has to do with political, like the cases that have a bearing on the political administration. And so his intrinsic bias is part of the reason why he fires bluntly.
So okay, let me ask a question.
Yeah.
Let's say I've gotten messages about the granting tool.
Yeah, I have seen that those ones which are in support.
They say you should allow us speak our Ghana.
No.
When people speak Twi, you don't stop them.
No, our audience is not. First of all, this is an English language program.
Yes.
And we have a global audience. Can you imagine if I have two panelists here and they all decided to speak Wala and you are home watching?
In Accra.
Why not?
In Accra.
In Accra. Is this show broadcast only in Accra?
You know now
from Accra.
You know now if we call Tuulome in this area, this show
will close.
I have no comment.
Better.
Okay, in fact, let me just read this text and take a break. This is from Dr. Abacha Bruce, Takrady Technical Events. He says, good morning, Anyami. I just love this morning's panel. Okukenene. Seke elo enyo. I haven't stopped laughing. My regards to them. We'll be back shortly. All right, welcome back to the show. If you just joined us, this is Good Morning Ghana live on Metro TV. And still with me on the show, I have the two Gadangbe young men, Dr. Koboy and Samuel Nate, George. Okay. Now, what does wealth mean to you? Do you want to live like a tycoon? Remember, I was got the Mola, got the power. Ghana's newest lottery game draws live on Adom TV at 9 a.m., 12 noon, and 6 p.m. daily. Now pick up your phones, tablets, and computers and download the GamePark Games app on Play Store. You can also play on their website at www.gameparkgames.com or by dialing star 946 hash on all networks. Just choose 4 numbers from 0 to 9. It's easy to play and easy to win. Charlie, make we play this game and make some moolah. Nobody beats our odds in Ghana. GamePark Games, more moolah, more power. This game is regulated by the National Lottery Authority. It's not for persons under 18. Play responsibly. Ayasoko. Dakosombo don't be big, but Betway's cash out be bigger. Betway is giving you more control over every thrilling bet you place. Enjoy the biggest and most reliable cash out in Ghana on Betway without any hassle. Sign up today at betway.com.gh. Terms and conditions apply. It's not for persons under 18. This is regulated by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Betway, get way more. And Blue Jeans energy drink has been on the Ghanaian market for over 20 years. We already know what it does for the body. It contains vitamins and nutrients like vitamin B2, B3, B6, B12, as well as taurine and guarana, which are known to boost your strength and energy, as well as promote high performance and endurance. Blue Jeans energy drink has been tested and tried. It's indeed the best. Blue Jeans energy drink is for bold and active men and women. So go and grab a cold can and power your day. It's in shops nationwide, and you can reach Budget Cash and Carry Limited on 0208 128 190 or 055 001 0000. All right. So, Oko, we have a problem with our currency. And I'm told that as at this morning, we're inching closer, if we've not got it, to the 15 cedi to $1 mark. Now, the minority in Parliament has expressed concern over the ongoing challenges facing the Ghana cedi, warning that the situation is likely to deteriorate further. They highlighted that the local currency now trading at 15 cedis against $1 has led to traders passing on the increased cost to consumers. This has resulted in a noticeable surge in the price of goods and services across various commercial districts such as Okanshi, Abosoka, and KJT. Addressing journalists in Parliament yesterday, the minority leader, Dr. Kesila Tuforsin, criticized the chairman of the economic management team, Dr. Baumia, for what he perceives as a failure to address the currency depreciation effectively. He emphasized the adverse impact of the cedi's decline on businesses, stressing the need for urgent action to stabilize the situation. He urged all well-meaning Ghanaians to hold Dr. Baumia accountable for his performance as the head of the economic management team. He argues that Dr. Baumia's administration has fallen short in managing the economic challenges, particularly regarding the stability of the cedi. Quote, in spite of the huge inflows of foreign exchange from the IMF and the World Bank into the Ghanaian economy, and I'm talking of billions of Ghana cedis, billions of US dollars, the government's action and its management of the cedi have continued to fuel steep depreciation with no end in sight, unfortunately. So far, the decisions of the economic management team chaired by our Vice President Alhaji Bawumia leaves a lot to be desired. The reality of the Ghanaian economy today exposes the credentials of the so-called economic whiz-kid who was marketed as the savior of Ghana's economy. Alhaji Bawumia's credibility is now in tatters. I want to use this opportunity to urge the Vice President to quit his offbeat dancing on the campaign trail and focus on the dancing CD. There's a lot awaiting our country as a result of reckless mismanagement by Alhaji Bawumia's government. And the minorities also raised concerns about the government's recent borrowing of 7 billion cedis from the Treasury bill market to compensate contractors outside of its budgetary allocations. And according to the minority, this practice of extending expenditure beyond the budget for political purposes is exacerbating the depreciation of the cedi against the dollar. And he condemned the government's reckless spending and called for fiscal discipline. He says they are on an expenditure spree, spending money as if there's no tomorrow. In the last few days, we are aware that they have paid approximately 7 billion cedis to contractors, off-budget expenditures, 7 billion. They borrowed from the T-bill market. So they borrowed the money from ordinary Ghanaians. Then they paid this money to these contractors. And the contractors are also not certain. So they have engaged in currency substitution. The contractors got cedis and went and changed it into US dollars and kept the money because of a lack of confidence in the economy. There was a statement that was issued by, Guta. I don't know, Oko, if you've seen that statement by Guta. Now, they say that the Ghana Union of Trade Association expresses deep frustration over, this was issued on Tuesday, over the current depreciation of the cedi, which is creating a big mess for the business community, especially the trading sector. This seeming crisis, coupled with the ever-rising freight charges from Asia, are rendering the cost of doing business unbearable. The current state of affairs has far-reaching implications and has caused prices of goods and services to increase for the consuming public. The inflationary pressures resulting from a depreciating cedi have pushed the cost of goods through the roof, making it increasingly difficult for businesses to stay afloat. The purchasing power of the consuming public has also been affected, thereby reducing the turnover of businesses. Repayment of loans to the bank has then become extremely difficult. The rising freight charges compounded by customs duties, benchmark in dollars at the port, are crippling trade and commerce, leading to untold hardship for businesses and consumers alike. It has increased unpredictability of forecast of businesses. The value of credit purchase increases, thereby making it very difficult for traders to repay the goods bought from the overseas suppliers, leading to higher indebtedness to businesses. Guta hereby calls on the government to take urgent measures to save this alarming situation from getting out of hand. Guta expresses his readiness to collaborate with the government and other stakeholders on this issue, and this is signed by Dr. Joseph Obeng, who is the president of Guta. And I always make the point that this is all happening at a time when we are not servicing our external debt. Oko, what's going on?
Why you first? Let me start first.
No, wait a minute.
Look, you know, I don't know, my senior brother, Tufosin, is the one who read this statement.
Yeah, he addressed the press.
And, you know, he has a very rich background in finance.
Yes.
But strangely, if you look at, but before I go even to, let's look at paragraph 26. How is Alhaji Bawumia able to look Ghanaians in the face and claim that exchange rate of 14.9 to USD 1 in 2024 is better than 2016's year ends 3.8 to 1 USD? This is ridiculous and embarrassing. Then that had Alhaji Bawumia. In fact, 25 also had Bawumia. Many businesses and households have questioned the voodoo conclusion of Bawumia. 28, Bawumia, Vice President. It should be a matter of concern for the Vice President that while Ghanaians hold the constitutional office that he occupies highest, same cannot be said for his words. 29, Alhaji Bawumia. Many traders and business continue to wonder how Alhaji Bawumia arrives at this. Doc, Bawumia so away. 24. Statements say that this from Alhaji Bawumia have significantly damaged his reputation as many people treat them with contempt. Paragraph 23, Alhaji Bawumia, shockingly but not surprised, the Vice President, who doubled as the chairman of economic management, has told Africa whether the CD has. Doc, Bawumia Mekuyo, if you are a Bawumia, it looks like my senior brother, Atuforsin was in a Baumia mood. And honestly, 11, the reality of Ghana economy today, I suppose the credentials.
Read 10 first.
Eh?
Read 10 first before I get to 11.
So far, the decision of the economic management team chaired by Alhaji Baumia. The reality of Ghana economy, I suppose credentials so-called whiskey Alhaji Baumia. Wow. Hey, and a Baumia press conference. Now, in any case, let's grant that all this is true. That Baumia has no idea what is happening. Doc, Atuforsi, what is his? Who is his recommendation or proposal? Is it not John Mahama? I'm about some few statistics. 2012, the cedi depreciated by 15.9%. 2013, 12.8%. 2014, 32.5%. 2015, 15.7%. 2016, 9.7%. Between 2017 and 2021, you have 4.9, 8.4, 12.9, 3. In fact, you have a lot of single digits. The point is that, in fact, and Atuforsin was also part of the finance team when John Mahama was in office. As a country, because fundamentally, our economy has a lot of exposure to the global trade and global environment. We have a situation where events easily affect us. Doc. So even when we have local challenges like a debt to GDP ratio that is on the high side, local challenges like power issues, whatever the local challenges are, any event in the global economy easily hits us. Because about 70% of the things we consume or handle all come from outside, Doc. Now, what is also very strange is that with Atuforsi's background, it is very weird that in trying to find out what is causing the cedi depreciation, look at it. Our checks at the commercial banks, Forex Bureau, and business suggest the following as the reason for the FIFA. The strange policy on missed cash. If Atuforsin wants to know, what is happening to the cedi, Forex Bureau, I mean, if you get what is happening to the cedi? I'll give you, I've written the reasons. But increase unbudgeted fiscal spending, which is fueling demand for foreign exchange. Oh, the last one, Doc. Uncontrolled corruption in the Kufuor-Bamiyan government. Oh, Doc. In fact, the recommendations sound too political. Like how technical, he has the capacity, but I don't know. Now, see the 31. We call on the Kufuor government to, among others, order the appointees to release forest stash in their homes. The whole press conference becomes address the lingering issues in the cocoa sector. In conclusion, we urge Baumia again, Doc. But in conclusion, let me say that these are the reasons why, some of the reasons why the cedi is having challenges when it comes to performance. First of all, there's strong performance from the dollar apparently globally. So other currencies that are benched to it are having issues. The demand for the dollar too has gone way up. In fact, recently in a meeting with the finance minister, it came out that Central Oil alone needed about $100 million to pay for the crude that they were refining. And apparently, when some of their top banks came together, commercial banks, it was difficult for them to raise it. And once the demand is very significant, and unfortunately for us, again, what I pick from the finance minister is that one of the conditions for the IMF arrangement was that even if the central bank has reserves, they can only release, I think, up to, you might have to figure about up to $50 or $60 million annually. And I learned that capping, we got there months ago. So they are building reserves, but they can't, ideally, they could have put in some dollar to meet the demand or to try and bring the pressure down on the cedi. So these arrangements is also making it tough for those who are in search of the dollar to get, and once you have any issue with scarcity, people can't get immediately, the prices are likely to go up. When John Mahama was president, these were some of the reasons that he gave, and they still apply today. Speculation also sometimes drives prices to go on the market. When John Mahama was president, the another reason that was given was the repatriation of proceeds by international firms. When they made their profit, they send it back. All these reasons, valid reasons that were given under JM are still valid now. The last one, usually in the election year, because of the, in quote, unpredictability or people having fears what could happen. 2012, when GM was there, one of the reasons was that people were trying to convert CD to dollar so that they could keep, have an international currency. No matter what happens, the country could still be liquid. So all these reasons that were given, Anna to Forsen was vice deputy finance minister, and JM was president, are still valid today. The few ones which are not valid, next week when I come, I'll let you know.
Sam George.
Manche.
Yes.
Okoye, he said a lot. I said nothing.
You are not the host.
He said absolutely nothing about the abysmal performance of the CD. He's asking why Bawumia's name has been mentioned a few times. Why? I get that now Bawumia has become the comedian-in-chief in the country. But the reality of the fact is that's not what we elected him for. He was elected to be the manager of the economic management.
Sam George, I guess your mood this morning is
Randy, if you are faced, listen, you know why I'm very angry this morning? There's a gentleman who called me yesterday on my way from Takrady. The guy is suicidal. You know why? His mortgage.
Yeah, but that doesn't make
sense.
No,
that doesn't make sense. The people who have caused this mess, the man who we asked to manage our economy, Bawumia, is dead. And jumping like this to be near a show on stage that he's dancing. When the city is messed up, you have the head of your economic management team behaving as though there is a puppet master playing with him on stage, dancing offbeat with two left legs. And the economy is tanking. And you are telling me that the depreciation of the city is not anything. No, look, what can I say? But Randy, people are getting suicidal. This is a gentleman whose salary in 2017, when he took a mortgage, his salary was 7,000 cedis. At that time, that was a good paying salary in Ghana. Yesterday, when he was talking to me, I broke down in tears. He took a mortgage where he's supposed to pay $500 a month as his mortgage. In 2017, when he took it, that mortgage was less than 2,000, was just around 2,000 cedis. That was less than 1/3 of his salary. Today, his salary has just moved up to about 8,500. Now his mortgage at $500 for this month is going to be 7,500. So meaning he will go home with 1,000 Ghana cedis. And you think that this is a country we must be happy about? And the man who is supposed to lead and head the economic management team is gallivanting around the country and cracking jokes. He tells us that he's joking. You go and give a policy statement that churches should be paid, and when you are held to it, you say you are joking. Did we elect Bawumia to be a jokester?
Let's stick to that.
If we wanted a prankster in the Flagstaff house, we would have found one to be there.
State one thing that makes him a joke. State one.
He himself, he says it that he was joking. He said it. He himself said it when he went to the church that he was joking when he said churches should be paid. Am I lying? Did I say that about me?
He said
he was joking when
he said the comment he made
was a joke.
It was a joke. He said the comment was a joke.
So what is
he
that?
Didn't say that. He didn't say that he's a joker.
I mean, so you've not engaged in jokes.
Randy, the man is on the campaign trail.
Okay. We don't have much time, so let's just focus on
the election of from the Ghanaian people to become the president of the country. We will do that on the basis of what he's done with 8 years. And the best things he can do is to be cracking senseless jokes.
He's mentioned many policies.
Randy,
from
and then dancing like a deranged puppet.
Oh, I mean,
Randy, look, we can't sit down. Randy, we are not going overboard.
Sam George.
Maybe when they called Muhammad I didn't say him.
Sam George.
Yes, Randy.
You can
I said he is dancing like. I didn't say he is air.
Sam George.
Okay. Sam
George.
Yes, Randy.
You can make the point you're making without all those expressions.
How do I dance?
Normal people dance with rhythm.
So I don't
you
know.
dance with rhythm.
Guys,
normal people dance with rhythm.
Let's not.
But we are not dancing with every rhythm.
Guys, let's not.
Yeah, the rhythm can be
Guys.
Randy, the bottom line here is this: we need to get the dollars that Oko's people have stashed in their houses. Those things are putting pressure on the Ghanaians.
Those are allegations that are unfounded.
How is it allegations? Why did they not find dollars in Cecilia Rapan's house? Was she not the minister for sanitation?
Yeah, but
Randy, what kind of allegations are we talking about?
Sam. Listen. I try as much as possible to allow us to express ourselves. But please, when we're making statements, we ought to know that you make a statement on this program, it is not just about you. It is about the program.
In fact, this program is a global program.
It's about the program, it's about whatever. The point I make is that sometimes you can say exactly what you want to say without all those embellishments and all the things that are added.
Randy,
that's
31. Paragraph 31.
Sam George, the point I'm making to you is that you can say exactly what you want to say without embellishing it with all those things.
Randy, what have I embellished?
I'm saying that some of the comments are offensive.
You said
let me.
Are you the host?
Listen, Sam, listen. As we speak today, there is no evidence that any money found in Madame Cecilia Dapa's house is money for the state or money acquired during her service as a minister in this country.
Randy, you have misunderstood everything. I never said anywhere that they have stolen money from the state. Listen, what puts pressure on the currency? It doesn't have to be stolen money from the state. It is hoarding the dollar.
Yeah, but where?
And so, Randy, no, there is evidence from the OSP that when they went to her house, they saw foreign currency. True or false?
Yes. So that means no, Sam George. We all understand the implication of.
You are drawing your own inferences and drawing your conclusions. I have not said she's stolen from the state.
I am saying that we all appreciate some of these things. My point.
No, but Randy, this morning you're also being unfair to me because if you are suggesting that I have not said what you are saying.
No.
The best host in Ghana.
Please. No, please. No, Oko, don't patronize. All I'm telling you is that you can make your point without all those embellishments.
Randy,
Just
I
do
am
that.
reading Akufo-Addo's press statement.
Yes.
Paragraph 31. We call on the Akufo-Addo government to, among others, order their appointees to release the FX stashed in their homes.
Which appointees have stashed FX in their home? Which appointees?
Randy, I gave you a typical example of an appointee who the OSP
the person
found
is
dollars.
not an appointee.
At the time the dollars were found stashed in the house, was she not an appointee?
At the time the press statement was issued.
Randy, we cannot run away from the fact
that
an appointee, a minister of state, had dollars stashed in her house. True or false? Nobody is talking about where the dollars came from. That's a completely different conversation that I am not having.
You should ask Ghanaians who have stashed dollars in their homes too.
Exactly, but you lead by example. So those in leadership must start. No, Randy, you lead by example.
Okay.
Leadership must start from there.
Yes. Yeah.
Randy, you see, we must be worried though. What's your 15? Bemini, we are not paying our external debt. What will happen when we start paying external debt? What will happen? All the inflows that have come so far from the IMF and co. What is happening to the currency? Look, the managers of the currency have hands off. They are on vacation. They are not focusing on the critical issues of managing the economy. Randy, listen, what is going on here? It's very simple. There are days when you go and watch Liverpool. If Liverpool was going to play in the final at Wembley, that week you won't be here. You will go and watch. We all know. But you will make sure that the show is produced and produced right. True or false? So nobody is saying don't live a life. But if you abandon the show and you didn't care who was going to host the show, you didn't find out from Andy who the guest will be, the topics, nothing, and then you go and you come back, everybody will ask you that, Manche, what did you do? And that's the point you are making.
Okay.
That Bawumia has handed off. Okay. Listen, me, I will criticize President Akufo-Addo every day, but this one, I won't criticize President Akufo-Addo because he is not the head of the economic management team. President Akufo-Addo told us that he picked Dr. Bawumia against the likes of Hajia Halima and all the other people in the NDC, MPP, who were stalwarts of the party because Bawumia was an economic whiz-kid. His own wife told us that, Samira. She told us that her husband is an economic whiz-kid. And the economic whiz-kid has taken us from 3.8 to 14.95. And they say that is better. And they give us the logic that it is warped logic to say that if the fundamentals are weak and the exchange rate is exposing you, it's bad to say that they've mismanaged the economy.
All right.
Andy.
Okay.
Manche,
Yes.
I just want to say that two things that affect the ordinary man on the streets and woman on the streets throughout our history has to do with availability and cost of energy as electricity, and then secondly, the performance of the city. I don't want to go into how we've had challenges in other regions. But all I can say is that they are so key that both candidates must do well to show us very detailed ways that they are going to apply to make sure that our city performs tremendously well when they are made president. I want to see some indications from President John Mahama on some of the detailed things he's going to do to keep power at a cost which is reasonable and available.
I can help you with those solutions right now. I can speak for him.
Let him finish.
So,
you are too hyper. I don't know if you had a fizzy drink this morning.
It calms people down. Sleeping. So one, power. Doc. Two, I have a friend. He supports me in my politics. He's a businessman. We're having a chat a few nights ago. He said, Doc, when the city struggles, it affects our business. And so you guys should try and put a hold on the city, as in do well to hold the city and do well with power. I've observed that any government that is able to manage it, do well on it, avoids trouble. When I say trouble, anger from the masses. One key thing that led to John Mahama's exit in 2016, I talked to people, I did campaign house to house, was power issues and unemployment. We have done decently for the past 7 years with power. I am confident, and I've been talking to Matthew Poku Prempe, that whatever it takes to make power stable, we are going to do it. With the city, it's the same word I have for the finance minister. We should do well to hold the city. It's true there are reasons why the city is having challenges, but across governments, we have this challenge of the city performance. And that is why I'm throwing, it's not a challenge. I am asking the two leading candidates, they should give us a detailed document.
In 2016, your government enumerated all these things and told us that it had a superior strategy.
But you are a host. Don't come in now.
I'm asking you a question.
They are my concluding remarks.
No, I'm asking you a question. Because at the end of the day, it is not the two of you who are affected. It's not just you.
It was Mother's Day.
Okay, 1 minute.
For others, let me just remind you, as I've told you, that I'll give you that we have an exciting conversation coming up, and it has to do with Atlantic Lithium listing on the Ghana Stock Exchange as the first greenfield company on the Ghanaian bourse. And I've seen Mr. Martinez here already as the CEO, and the two young men. Maybe you don't know that he's a chief. In his presence, you are still misbehaving. He's here with us, and we're also joined by Ms. Abnamwa, who's the head of the Ghana Stock Exchange. So she's also going to be here, and we're going to really have a conversation about what this means. What's the big deal about this, really? The Minerals Commission people are buzzing, but I really don't get it. I don't get it. I need them to tell us why it's such a big deal. Okay. As soon as I get rid of this young Gadangbe man, we'll deal with those things. Yes.
Randy. You see, it's a very simple thing. I agree with Oko. They must tell us what they will do. But you see, promises are simple. It's all talk. We're interested in seeing the track record, because your track record will determine whether we believe your promise or not. John Mahama has been vice president and president. Bawumia has been vice president and head of economic management team. So we can see John Mahama's track record as head of economic management team and president was that he left $1 at 3.8. he left us with a stable power supply because he had fixed a problem he inherited. Because Randy, I keep repeating, in France 98, Rawlins's time, we had Dumso in Ghana.
Yes.
In 2006, President Kufuor took pastors to go and pray. So it's not a John Mahama creation, but he fixed it by bringing in AXA, Ameri, and all of those things and fixed the problem. We see what the economy and power situations were under Mahama. Under Bawumia, we've seen where the dollar is. It's 14.95 today and heading for 20. We've seen that we are back to doom. So all of us are willing. We pray that it gets better. But you see, Randy, prayer and hope is not a strategy when it comes to economic management.
All right.
You understand me? And so for me, yes, they can make the commitments and tell us what their roadmaps are about. The value of those roadmaps are based on their track record. And when you look at the track record of one, is one of delivery, one of functioning and a functional economy and a stable power legacy. You look at the other, it is dancing.
All right.
Dancing and jokes.
So Oko Obanga, but you're the Minister of Health designate. I want to spend 2 minutes on a subject, which has to do with the nursing training allowance. We know what happened in that school and all that. Okay. So yesterday we had this thing from the Coalition of Concerned Nurses and Midwife Trainees, and it's data that we're sharing with you. Yesterday I read it out, so we'll show you that data, and it has to do with the arrears owed from the 2017 batch to the 2024 batch. Dr. Okuboy also has sent me some information on what they've paid and what the arrears are, and of course the 170 million that they said they're going to release today to pay. So, Dr. Okuboy, I'm going to show you what. So, what you see there on your screen now is what the nurses and midwives trainee say are the arrears. So, our audience, you can actually see that.
I sent you this too. Or I sent it. It's part of what I said.
No, not this. Not this. Yes, this one. Yeah. So, you see that for the 2017 batch, they completed school in 2020. They are owed 1 month. They completed school 4 years ago. They are owed 1 month. Then you have the 2018 batch. They completed 2021.
They are owed how many? 1 month.
1 month.
So they spent 3 years in school.
Yes.
So they would have been paid 29 months.
Yes.
Many months will be. 3 years is 36.
No, normally they do, I think,
10 months. They do 10 months.
So they are owed 1 month. They finished school 4 years ago. Those who finished 3 years ago, the 2018 batch, they are owed 3 months. The 2019 batch, they finished 2022. They are owed 4 months. The 2020 batch, they completed last year. They are owed 15 months. 1-5. They completed last year. They are owed 15 months. Now, the 2021 batch, those in their third year, as of this month, May, are owed 27 months. As of this month, they are owed 27 months. Those on the 2-year course, they are owed 17 months. Now, these people will finish in a month. So, by June, they are done. They are owed 27 months and 17 months, respectively. The 2022 batch, they are owed 16 months, as at May. The 2023 batch, 9 months of arrears is owed to those who will complete in 2026. As of May 2024, they are owed 9 months, Dr. Okuboy. And approximately 30% of trainees have never received any allowance at all. So this is the data from the nurses, Coalition of Concerned Nurses and Midwives Trainees. Now you gave us some data. Can we look at the data given us by, some information given us by Dr. Okuboy? And you have also told us that this is the information you got from Controller.
No, from the HR department.
Okay. So from your HR department, you also show what has been paid and what has not been paid. But this is the...
No. Yeah. Even, look, let's even grant that what you have is true. Like I told you, normally there are 30 months in the 3 years that you have to pay them. If the year you mentioned were owed 1 month, what it means that this government did well to pay 29 months. Those that we have 3 months outstanding that have finished school, it means we pay them 27 months. The point I want to make is that I would prefer a leader who says that...
those who are in now, who are finishing next month, you owe them 27 months.
No, I don't want JCA Kumo. The point I'm making is that
that's what you are referring to. They finished school 4 years ago and 3 years ago.
But under us, we said we were going to, no matter the challenge, we were going to pay the allowance in school. The alternative which they had, when it's John Mama, who is still the one coming, said, I can pay. But at least under us,
go and take SNID loan. Let's replace the allowance with a SNID loan.
There are programs that I don't qualify for SNID. I have programs that don't qualify for SNID. What do you do to those people? By the way, loan is now that we are even saying with Ghana, you don't no guarantee system. When I was in tech, sometimes to even get SNID people to guarantee for you, it's not a problem because it's not easy. Because if you don't pay, they'll go for them. So it's not that easy. Allowances cushion people. Doc, bottom line, the amount that we say we're going to release, I think the information I gave you shows that we'll pay 4 months. We'll
pay 4 months to who?
102,000 nurses. It will be different badges. At least we'll clear.
Will they include those who have completed school?
Oh, no. But I think, let me also put it here that if you even complete school, they use, I think, the switch system or the system. Yes, we are able to still pay them even when they've gone. So that is possible. I don't have the breakdown, but this amount.
So you're saying that the 117 will cover 4 months?
Yes, 4 months of arrears.
4 months. And so for those who are completing next month, who you owe 27 months, you are paying them 4 months out of the 27 months.
They
will finish school next month.
What I have to check is whether the 4 months is entirely for those who have not had any. Okay. Or it's because it's possible we'll clear 1 month of those who have left.
Because there are about 30% who have not received
at all. But look, I think the point I want to make is that I would prefer a leader who says that this is so important. No matter the challenge I have, I'll put in effort to meet it. Than the one who says that, look, I'm not touching this.
So how come people have been in school for 3 years? They are completing next month, June, and you have not paid them allowance. Out of the 30 months, you not pay them 27 months. How come?
Look, obviously, I think the more difficult the fiscal situation becomes, the more challenging it is to release funds. So there's a relationship. If you watch the first 3-4 years, the arrears were not as bad as the second term. So it's a policy that we are committed to. But when there's a fiscal challenge, it affects the releases. And we'll do well, no matter how challenged we are, to reinvest these nurses. At least that is a better, I think that gives some hope than the option of John Mama, which says that I will not run this program.
All right. So many minutes, yes.
What is the essence of giving the allowance?
Social support.
Because when Oko was speaking, he spoke about when we're in tech, that you depend on that money in school. Now, the current crop are graduating in June. June is
next month.
2 months. It's next month away.
6 weeks.
6 weeks away. Yeah. Which means that it would have completed their 30 months.
Yes.
And they are owed 27 months. If you add next month, that'll be 28 months. Meaning out of the 30 months they are supposed to have spent there, they receive only 2 months. So my question is, if this whole thing is about supporting the students in school whilst they are in school, and a child can go through the whole process without receiving anything or receiving 1 month out of 30 months, are we really serious about why we are giving them this money? Or is this money an election gimmick? So we are waiting in November, October, then boom, they'll do some back pay arrears as a way of buying votes.
Right.
Randy,
Okay.
the reality must be stated. But Randy, before we go, I know we're hard pressed for time. He's the Minister for Health designate.
Yes.
Let me draw his attention to something. I have spoken hoarse about it on the floor of Parliament, and nobody seems to want to listen.
What is it?
The WHO has brought what they call the International Health Regulations, a pandemic treaty. And I've been sounding the warning since last year. In fact, the UK has pulled out of it. Australia is pulling out of it. In fact, people are rumoring that the Slovakian PM, who was shot yesterday, is because of this. Countries are pulling out of this because what it means is that the WHO, which is not an elected body, is now we've handed over our sovereignty as a country to the WHO. The WHO will now determine how the country will respond to pandemics. They would have the power to declare lockdowns in countries. That power does not even reside in the president of Ghana. When President Akufo-Addo wanted to declare a lockdown, he came with an executive instrument to the representative of the people, which is Parliament. So your predecessor
has Ghana signed that? Has Ghana signed?
Randy, the way the thing is structured is that if you don't opt out It kicked in on the 4th of May. But you still have 90 days to opt out after it has kicked in.
And you think we should opt out?
Honey, it is the safest thing to do. Because the decision of how we treat pandemics, and Oko will tell you, he was part of
maybe
it.
we
he got
need
a
to have,
national award.
No, maybe we need to have a session on, because I'm sure that there are people who perhaps will also think that it is the right thing to do.
Randy,
so maybe we need to have a contestation of ideas on it.
I'm drawing his attention because these international health regulations are critical to the sovereignty of Ghana as a state. So as incoming health minister,
I'm sure you're aware of this.
Because they have not approved me, I'm not aware.
Huh? But you just spoke about nursing allowance. Have you been?
Oh, God approve me. You have job vote. No one in here check. Ball, I can be better.
You me folk, you. Nowhere.
Look, let me say, you know, Mother's Day was just this Sunday.
Yeah, Sunday.
So a special one to Mrs. Randy Abbey.
This is Mrs. Tessa Abbey.
Mrs. Tessa Abbey.
Yes.
And Mrs. George. I think Sanitary become Barbie too hot. You know. Me and wife can we say boy can me back out.
Ojo magera for that.
Yes, that's a problem, Yesha. And then let me also greet a special one to my wife as well.
Is there easy? Are you laughing?
Doc, you know, First Lady is a special person.
Becky.
And then
I saw her. I saw a picture of her and the 1-year-old boy.
Yeah, the artist.
Beautiful picture.
We have wasted some years. So at 1 year, someone has.
No, it wasn't documented. When you were doing those things, they thought you were messing up the walls and all those things.
Okay.
It wasn't documented.
All right. We'll see what we'll do. It's not too late. And then
what came to my head, I don't want to say.
Doc, and then a good one to the chief of staff.
Okay.
Who is our mother, my mother, your mother, Sam George's mother. But so far, the children.
Have you watched her song, the song they played for Running Mate? Or have you not seen it?
Oh, they played some song for her.
Oh, how?
Oh, I've not followed that one.
I see.
As for the Running Mate area, I try to stay away.
Okay.
Because most of the people there are people that I cherish a lot. And then let me also say a good one to all females who are in politics.
Okay.
It's not an easy terrain. And my favorite person on the other side is Zaneto.
Okay.
So, Doctor.
She's bouncing, and she'll keep bouncing. Don't worry.
Two medical doctors.
Yes. The special one to Dr. Zaneta Ajimaronis.
Okay.
She's one of the finest.
Did you see her at when she was dancing?
What? No, that's why I saw her.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I know.
Sam George, would you say? Okay, that's the picture I was talking about. Randy, would you greet Mr. Samuel Tete of the Electoral Commission? Say
Randy, let me say good morning to Samuel Tete of Electoral Commission and tell him that today people have massed up there.
And call him right after the show. Yes.
I'll call him after the show.
All right.
I'll call him. You asked me to call him. But let me also greet.
You know, Tete is a Dango.
Let me.
Great, yes.
Yes, I know.
Yes.
Dango, let me also greet.
Okay.
I'm greeting my wife.
Okay.
I'm greeting my mother who is watching.
Yes.
I've greeted your wife.
Yes.
And I'm greeting your wife.
Yes.
Okay.
And Mrs. Rodina.
And then I want to greet Auntie Valerie Sawyer. Auntie Valerie Sawyer for the fantastic job she keeps doing. She's a fantastic mother figure in my life. And Professor Jena now Kokwajiman, who, God willing, will be the vice president of this country from 2025 and set this country right again. And the last one I reserve is for my mother in politics, Her Excellency Nana Hima Lodina Dramani Mahama. Let me wish her long life and good health.
Okay, so yesterday was the birthday of one of my most favorite persons, and I have this relationship with him as one of my most favorite persons. He turned 60 yesterday. Reverend Dr. Lawrence Tete. Yesterday was his 60th birthday. And I missed it by a whimper. But a happy 60th birthday to you, the international evangelist.
You see that a generation of men of God are all in their 60s now.
Yeah,
I think he's the last of them.
The Archbishop was on Sunday. He was 67 on Sunday, yes. But Reverend Dr. Lawrence Tete, happy 60th birthday to you. Happy 60th to you.
In your trouble, in your Bible. Hey, Reverend, bring away.
It's a very nice man.
Oh yeah, sharp bad. You know he's a PhD. Yeah.
From Hungary.
Yes. In economics. Yeah. So happy birthday to you once again. So that's it. I don't remember the last time that I had beads of sweat on my face on this show, but today I do have. I can feel it.
George,
guys, just get out of my studio. Thanks for coming. Just get out of my studio. Up next, Minerals Commission, Ghana Stock Exchange. Ghana Live on Metro TV. And it's time for our Thursday morning conversation with the Minerals Commission, talking about the mining sector in this country. But today, we have a twist, and it looks like a pleasant one, and it's going to be quite interesting as far as this is concerned. And I'm sure that you're aware that Atlantic Lithium is listed on the Ghana Stock Exchange, and it makes it the first greenfield company on the Ghanaian bourse. And, well, people are going all hyper about it, but what's the big deal? Companies list every day. So, really, what is this about? What's significant about this? What's game-changing about this? Why should this even interest anybody? We're going to find out about that. And, you know, my usual guest on the show is Mr. Martin Ayisi. He's the CEO of the Minerals Commission, and he's been very excited throughout. Martin, good morning.
Morning.
Okay. All right. But joining us on the show this morning for the first time, and I'm happy about that, is Madam Abinamwa, who is what's the title at the stock exchange? Is it Managing Director of the Ghana Stock Exchange? Abna, good morning.
Good morning, Randy.
Okay. So as for Martin, we know him. Let me start off this way, and I like to do that so we can all lighten up a bit. You're the MD of the Ghana Stock Exchange. What more is there to know about you?
I've been in the investment banking industry for almost 30 years.
Oh.
Ran a couple of local domestic investment banks, and then joined an international firm as well. And I've done some work also on the private sector side, trying to build infrastructure projects in Ghana. And so I've had the unique opportunity to see things from the advisor's point of view, from a company that needs to raise capital, from an investor's point of view, and also now through the Ghana Stock Exchange, from the regulatory and infrastructure point of view, who enables the growing of businesses, the creation of wealth for investors, so we develop our country. And for me, that's very exciting. And that's what we are working with the team and all stakeholders to achieve.
How long have you been MD of Stock Exchange?
A year and maybe 6 months.
Oh, 18 months.
Yes.
Why did you accept it? Why did you decide to do it?
I thought I'd never done the regulatory and infrastructure side.
Okay.
I've always been absolutely passionate about the capital markets because no country, absolutely no country, has grown without mobilizing its citizens' savings, turning them into investments. That goes to private sector, that goes to infrastructure development, and that creates wealth. So Ghana will be left behind if we don't focus on developing our capital market. I was trying to build an industrial park, and funding was a struggle. We had electricity challenges. We had all sorts of issues. And I realized if we don't tackle that framework that enables Ghanaian ownership, we've done a lot to facilitate foreign investments and continue to do that. But I still thought that what was missing was how we crowd in Ghanaians, let them educate more Ghanaians about the investment opportunities that are here. So we build public markets that enables our country to develop to the levels of the South Africa, the European and North American.
Okay, so we'll get back there. There's some things that are a bit confusing about a stock exchange. There's a tier 1, tier 2, there's something different, that other thing different, and I'll get you to explain all that bit for us. How come some people have bought shares in a company, they don't see the shares being traded? How is that possible, and what that does mean and all that? And I'm sure a lot of Hearts of Oak supporters will be interested in that as well. But let me come to the excited Martin. So what's exciting about Atlantic Lithium listing on the Ghana Stock Exchange?
Randy, good morning.
Good morning.
And then good morning to Abna, who has been very instrumental in getting this done. And of course to our viewers and those who are also listening, wherever they may be. Randy, I think as far back as last year, so that she gets to answer most of the questions, I basically itemize 4 key government policies that for us at Mincom, we think that whether MPP or whoever is in power, if we should take them seriously, we can turn the mining sector around, so that we will also be like how people can talk about mining in Australia, in South Africa, in Canada, and elsewhere. What were those 4 areas? Small scale. I think I mentioned small scale mining. I mentioned value addition. Then I mentioned local content. And then what we talked about last week, raising monies here to finance these billions of dollars we've been talking about. Other than that, the norm is that these things come from outside. So we are beginning to see 2 of the 4 cardinal policies of the government. And for that matter, some of the things that were included in the mining lease, bearing fruit now. So if you look at page 23 and 24, just to set the scene carefully of the lease, apart from the taxes, the royalties, and other things that are listed in there were 4 things that were imposed, or 4 obligations, okay, that were, if you like, imposed on the company. And one is that they must come out with a report on FESPA and the chemical plant, so that we can refine those products here. Randy, I'm proud to say that those reports have been submitted to the Minerals Commission. They've taken us to it. So I'm just trying to check the availability of the minister. At the appropriate time, he will hold a press conference to tell the nation about that one too. So we can take off on that one. The other one is to allow the state to participate, state and Ghanaian participation. So for the state, it is coming through MIF, because MIF is a sovereign wealth fund for the Republic of Ghana. And they are investing about $32 million, 5 of which has been paid. So again, this is a sharp departure from what we used to have, all these years. Then the third one, which is making me excited, is that we make, we indigenize the sector. And how do you do that? You do it in 2 ways, in the MIF angle and also allowing Ghanaians to participate. So it's not everybody who is interested in coming to Minerals Commission and pick up licenses and explore and then get into mining, or even wants to do supply. Somebody wants to take, equity or maybe finance. So the stock exchange route is one of the things. And I'm proud to say that this is a greenfield. When we say greenfield, like fresh, new, they finished feasibility, they've been issuing a mining lease. Other than that, those that used to be listed in the past were not, they were just going concern. Remember the Anglo Gold, Ashanti Major, Golden Star that they listed, they are coming back again after the Chinese passages. So this is the first time we are seeing things like that. We need to see more of this. So I'm here telling Ghanaians that one of the conditionalities imposed on Atlantic Lithium when the Barari lease was signed by the minister sometime in October last year has been fulfilled. The fine details, who and what is available, what is in it for us, she's the best person to answer. I have done my part. There's only one conditionality left, which is they have to set up a community development fund where 1% of the revenue every year will be set aside to support the community. It will be given to them. That can only happen when production starts. So that is the excitement.
Well,
thank you.
Okay. So I come back to you. he said as a regulator, he's happy. He signed a contract. Portions of the clauses in the contract are being fulfilled. So I mean, he has every reason to be happy. But for the GSE, the Ghana Stock Exchange, and for us, what's exciting about this? There are companies that are listed on the stock exchange already. You're trading every day. What is new? What's different? What's exciting?
So what I really must also do is commend Martin and his team and the policymakers for this policy direction that for such an important asset as mining, we all know it's a significant, if not the largest contributor of foreign exchange to our economy. We are the largest producer of gold in all of Africa. In all of Africa. On foreign exchanges, stock exchanges, there are over 40 companies whose only assets or largest assets are listed there outside of Ghana, giving their nationals, other countries' nationals, the opportunity to benefit from a mineral that we work on every day. So I can say for a fact that what our policymakers have done excites not just only Ghanaian investors, but all of Africa's investors. I've had calls from my colleague CEOs in Nigeria, in Botswana, in Rwanda, etc. They're all very excited and they want to learn from us. Because truly the capital markets, as Australia, Canada, London, New York, Joburg have demonstrated, it's the true engine of wealth creation for the mass public. So what is exciting for us is that, Randy, today we have a lot of Ghanaians asking, what should I invest in? I have some savings. What can I put my money to that can work for me whilst I do my other stuff? We've created a pension scheme, a private pension scheme. Today they have 50 billion Ghana cedis of our contributions under management that they have to invest, and invest largely in the productive sectors of the Ghanaian economy. So those investments can make good return in the long term. When you're in retirement, the value of that investment and of your pension and my pension stays and can support us when we don't have regular incomes. In Nigeria next door, 35 billion US dollars worth of these same assets. And to be honest, you said there are companies listed on the Ghana Stock Exchange. Today, the GSE has 3 markets. Our main market for large companies to raise what we call equity shares. We have an alternative market that has about 5 companies on it, on the main market, 36 companies. And we have a fixed income market where companies can raise debt.
So
money they can buy.
I'll let you explain all 3.
But
yes.
They are in all, we have less than 50 companies on that market.
Why?
That is another thing we must count.
Because you've come from the private sector.
Yes.
You've been involved in investments and equity and all that. So you can appreciate how the private sector, which is supposed to list, how they see the boss and why they would want to see that as an option or not.
Yes.
You are now the person in charge.
Yes.
So that's why I asked you the question.
Yes.
How come we have hundreds of companies, yet we have just this small number you
50.
mentioned,
Yes.
less than 50
Yes.
companies at the various tiers of the stock exchange?
And I'll share some of the reasons with you, but there are many that we can delve into later, because today I really want to talk about why the Atlantic lithium is a big opportunity for the market. And one of it is mostly people don't understand the market, and that's why we've stepped up our engagement with direct companies. And through that engagement, we've seen Casapreco, PLC, that I remember first reaching out to the founder more than 20 years, 25 years ago. Casapreco has come to the stock exchange this year and listed. So the educational programs are very, very important, and we've had a strategy of engaging in a different way that we are beginning to see results
take a cue from the Minerals Commission and let's have a time with the stock exchange on Good Morning Ghana.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The second part is policy. Many countries that have had sustained capital market development have had policies that support the listing of these companies.
Okay.
For instance, MTN Ghana, it was a condition of their license for 4G that they come to the market. And so they came to the market. So Ghana as a country must look at doing some
When
of the
was
things.
this?
2018.
Okay.
They came to the market 2018. They raised 1.3 billion Ghana cedis. They listed, and it has become the most liquid stock on the market. So what MINCOM has done is also important, and we believe that to enable this continue, other critical sectors, the financial sector, the insurance sector, utilities, even state-owned enterprises. We've been working on a project with the Ministry of Finance and Public Enterprises and SIGA on this. All those must come to the market because most of them need capital. The third reason is that people used to say there was no capital if they needed to raise money here in Ghana. 12 years ago, we privatized our pension sector. I've just told you that our private pensions have 40 billion cedis.
Where's that money?
That money was 99% put in government of Ghana treasury bills and bonds.
Whoa. Okay.
So now they are looking for new ways to invest the money, and their regulator also says that they must invest in variable sectors and in the real sector of the economy. So the issue that used to be that there's no money in Ghana if I need to raise capital, we've seen through our private pensions especially that there is money. Now they are looking for products to invest in. And for me, the final thing is sometimes the fear of many of the entrepreneurs who are like, oh, I don't want to open up my business, the transparency that comes with being on the stock exchange. I don't want to go through that. It's really an education program to tell them that you're not going to lose your company. The benefits of having a better governance structure is a more sustainable business, so your company doesn't die off with you.
Let's spend a little time on the issue of the regulations, the requirements.
Yes.
Which you believe that it's one of the key reasons why people don't want to go there. What's required of a company to be able to list?
To list a company, and I'll talk, let's say, on the main market.
Yes.
On the main market to come to market, your stated capital should be 1 million Ghana cedis.
Minimum. 1 million Ghana cedis.
1 million Ghana cedis. You must be willing to sell up to 25% of your shares.
So you can retain 75.
Exactly.
Okay.
You must be willing to present and publish quarterly financials.
Quarterly.
Quarterly.
So 4 times a year.
4 times a year plus you're audited, and the 4 don't have to be audited.
Yes.
Plus you're audited.
At the end of the financial year. Okay.
You must be willing to disclose and engage with investors periodically, or at least once a year, how you are growing the business, how the business is performing.
Is that through an AGM?
We actually offer a platform called Facts Behind the Figures.
Okay.
Where we bring the investors and the issue
a public platform
to engage. So we believe that these are actually sustainable ways of doing business, transparent and sustainable ways of doing business, especially if you've taken public money. Your willingness to account to them, to engage with them as you engage with your customers. Your investors are a very important stakeholder for you, and that is why public markets all around the world are significant. Even in Africa, our public markets constitute over $1.6 trillion of assets.
What's the value of assets on the Ghana Stock Exchange as we speak?
As we speak now, the value of so we run 3 markets.
Yes.
Across our markets, we have over 400 billion Ghana cedis of assets across our 3 markets.
400 billion.
400 billion Ghana cedis of assets across our markets. The vast majority of that is in our fixed income market, which is dominated by Government of Ghana securities. More than 90.
Yeah, when you say fixed income market, what's that?
When you're buying treasury bills, the DDP bonds, the new bonds, the old bonds, That's where.
What has that got to do with the stock exchange?
They are traded on the Ghana Stock Exchange.
Really?
That is where you buy your treasury bills.
Oh, so that's government
borrowing. Yeah, that's government.
Yes.
Exactly. Then there is the corporate bond
So that's
sector.
where the private pension people are playing.
They are all there. And that's where they've put all our money, or majority of our money. Then the private constitutes about 9% of 9%. That's where Casapreco is where.
So government is about 91.
Yes, and that is why our pensions are looking for investments in the real sector. That is why they're excited about Atlantic.
But why
Lithium.
Haven't you?
And Atlantic Lithium, let me tell you some of the things they're excited about. Lithium as a green mineral. And possibly this will be our first investment, at least in West Africa, of a green mineral being listed on a stock exchange. This company, their only asset is in Ghana. They are listed on London Stock Exchange. They are listed in Australia, but not in Ghana. So now we've brought the opportunity closer to our Ghanaian investors. The day after the listing on Tuesday, they had an investor briefing for our Ghanaian funds. Over 50 people showed up. It was eye-opening for them. So that education is going on. It means that if they want to buy the shares, they don't need to go to London. It means that Atlantic Lithium is also committed to working and educating the Ghanaian investor to understand how to invest in this.
So what percentage of their shares are they listing on the GSE?
So what they've listed is all of the shares already in issue and traded in London and Australia on the Ghanaian market. So everything, the entire company.
Is that 100% of the company?
100% of the company
which value
on the
is
Ghana
what?
market, which value is about 2.4 billion Ghana cedis on the Ghana market today.
Okay.
So that is what is available on the Ghana market today.
Okay, but we are not in a position to determine what has been bought already on the other exchanges and what is left. We are not.
No, they are all in the hands of various investors.
Yeah, so even the investors can sell them.
Exactly.
It does not necessarily lie with the company. Even individuals who have bought can also trade.
Exactly. Okay. But in addition to that, following our discussions also with the investors, the institutional investors, what we are looking at and talking to the company to do a particular capital raise that is focused in Ghana so that more people can look at it and take a view.
So how much is a share and what is the minimum that one can buy?
So on the GSE, we listed them at 4 cedis 40 pesos per share. That was on Monday.
4 cedis 40 pesos?
Per share.
Okay. And what's the minimum that you can buy?
The minimum you can buy really is 1 share, 10 shares, 100 shares if you want.
So you can go and buy 4 cedis 40 pesos?
Put in an order with your stockbroker. Okay. So that's the minimum a person can buy. But we say that for investments, please always talk to the number of stockbrokers that we have.
Can I walk to your office and buy a share?
No, you don't. We don't
so
sell
how do I buy
you.
A
you
share?
Buy shares through stock brokerage firms. Many of whom have. If you go on our website, you see the list
the Ghana
of them.
Stock Exchange website.
www.gsc.com.gh.
Okay.
We have the list of stockbrokers, or on our regulator site, the SEC site as well. We have a list of stockbrokers. Many of our stockbrokers have trading platforms, such as Trade Live, Second Stacks, FinCap, CD Manager, etc., that you can use to even buy shares on the market. Even on your mobile phone, on your MTN one, you can see that you can buy and sell MTN shares on the Ghana Stock Exchange, on USSD or on a smartphone. So these avenues are there, and we are looking to expand more of them.
Now, why should I invest my money in shares? Why?
It's very important for everyone.
There's land. There's land to buy, to go and build real estate, to go and buy land somewhere, to build somewhere, to hide the money under my bed. Why should I buy shares?
An investment in shares is an investment in a company in Ghana. An investment, if a company needs to produce more things, and we've been talking about even import substitution, that we are buying a lot of imported goods. It means that we are investing in companies that are producing outside of Ghana. So if a company that's operating here says, I need to raise 50 million Ghana cedis and establish a factory here and hire people here and produce goods here and pay taxes here, I think every Ghanaian, it's our responsibility, it's our civic responsibility to support that, to create the jobs that we need, to create the environment that we need. Many people that invested in MTN today are happy. Even MTN today has 25% of its shareholders as Ghanaian. It means that of the profits that it announces every quarter that it makes, if it's paying dividend, what does it mean? A quarter of it at least goes to a Ghanaian. Again, it reduces the foreign exchange repatriation of us. But so long as you believe in the future of this country, you are here. All of us, of course, the investment opportunities are many. And depending on your risk profile and your risk appetite, you will look at the different things. But shares remain a very viable one. If you build a house and you needed to raise a portion of that, you can't sell your living room alone. But shares, you can sell 1, 2, 3 of it and liquidate that. So it's more liquid. Generally, stock markets or investments in well-functioning stock markets are more liquid than investments in real estate. Even if it's real estate you want to do, there are many vehicles that are on stock markets, such as things we call real estate investment trust, where you put together a portfolio, a group of buildings, say that earn rent, and each of us can hold a portion of that, a token way. So instead of a Ghanaian who doesn't have $100,000 to go and put up a building, but I have the equivalent of 100 CDs, I can be a co-owner in a building that is 100,000. So it democratizes the access. So it's not just rich people that can come to the market. That's why I said the minimum investment is one. Anyone with 5 CDs, 10 CDs, 20 CDs, through stock markets, we put in place these structures so that the person with 10 CDs can invest as much as the person like you who has the big amounts can also invest. Okay. And these are the advantages.
Are you in a position to tell us the structure of investments or trading on the stock exchange, as in Ghanaian and foreign? Yeah. And I ask this question because I want to find out whether Atlantic Lithium's listing is open to only Ghanaians or it's open to everybody.
Very well. So on the stock markets, the listings are open to everyone.
Irrespective of your nationality.
Irrespective of your nationality. So for Atlantic Lithium, what I said is that what is listed is what is already in London, Australia, etc. But when you come to Ghana, there's a specific requirement that the policymakers have made that for these mining leaseholders, they should ensure that up to 25% of their holding is Ghanaian. Is Ghanaian, is local. And that is why companies, and MTN had a similar thing, and that is why they went through their localization strategy and have met a 25% minimum state. So we're working with the MINCOM and the Chamber of Mines to come up with the guidelines for the implementation of this strategy. Because if we took all the mining companies in Ghana today and said that implement the strategy immediately, these are multi-billion-dollar companies. We don't have the capacity to take up all of that. We don't. So it's an incremental
Is
approach.
any of them listed?
We have Anglo that's listed. We have Asante Gold that is listed, which also came through this MINCOM policy. And so what we are doing is having an incremental approach to ensure that when they want to raise capital, that never again is it that Ghanaians don't even have an opportunity to look into what they are doing, which was what was going on before. But the capital raises, we were always excluded. And if you are not at the table, you can't take advantage of the opportunity. And for me, that's what I'm excited about. Because if I'm given the opportunity, I can analyze and say, yes, I want this. No, I don't want this. But with information, with education, I'm empowered to make the right decision. And so for the Ghanaian mining leaseholders, yes, progressively, we will work with them to attain that minimum Ghanaian ownership. What does that mean? One, they must all be on the stock market. And it doesn't matter if you come on the stock market to start with 1% shareholding, but be there. The next capital raise you need, you have to offer it to Ghanaians as well. To let Ghanaians make a good decision, you must work with us to educate all of us. So as we get educated, then we begin to do the things that Canadian Teachers Fund, South African pension fund holders have done and built their stake in this market.
Clarify this for me. Has trading in Atlantic Lithium started?
Yes, it has started.
Okay, so if it started, how are you able to achieve the minimum 25% Ghanaian ownership? What's the mechanism that has been put in place to ensure that 25% is achieved? Is there something that safeguards that?
Yes. So what safeguards that is the law. And we will monitor the trading as we've had the system before. We'll monitor the trading to make sure, and the stockbrokers know, to make sure that those holdings are not impeded to start with. The additional mechanisms in place today is that these securities trade across markets. So there are brokers that are sourcing the shares from London or Australia and offering them to investors here. The second mechanism that's been put in place is that MIF, the Minerals Income and Investment Fund, also has access to some shares that they are working also to look at to offload onto the market. The third mechanism that has been put in place is that Atlantic Lithium itself is going to do a public offer on its next capital raise. That is for Ghanaians. And through that capital raise, that will become what Ghanaians, additional shares that Ghanaians will have access to.
So what if 90% of Atlantic Lithium shares are bought on a London stock exchange and they are bought by non-Ghanaians? What do you do about it?
100% of the shares will always trade across the markets. Okay. But if you are going to move shares across registers, and the companies are very clear about making sure they meet these, this is a law. Okay. Can't flout the law. And the advisors, it's not the shareholders dealing directly with each other. The advisors are licensed. And one of the key things they have to comply with are all the rules and regulations that govern these trading mechanisms. Okay. So for us, we do surveillance on these matters to make sure that these break points are not flouted. But to start with, the whole company is on the market. As and when more shares get onto the Ghana register, they will be traded in, and as and when the company, and we expect, based on the discussions we're having, for an additional capital raise to come and focus on the Ghana market. The other thing with Ghanaians is that mostly they don't trade. We are buy and hold country. Yeah. We used to buy, frame the share certificate and pass it on to our...
I have my EcoBank transnational share certificate somewhere.
You've never sold it?
Never.
Exactly. So the one thing we've seen generally with Ghanaians is that we buy and hold. So it won't be Ghanaians selling out their shares. It will be more of, and as we've seen with MTN, foreigners selling their shares to Ghanaians and Ghanaians picking them up. So we're very confident that with some of these things that we've put in place, more shares will get into Ghana and into the hands of those that want it. There
are two interesting questions that I need to ask you. I think that you're more than capable in answering them, so I'll still go ahead and ask them. The first one has to do with where these government bonds and stuff are being traded. Now, if 91%, I'm sure that you, from what you're saying, you would prefer that the pension funds and others are traded at the level where you now have Atlantic Lithium and others, rather than in those government bonds and bills and all that. You know, it appears that government is, in a way, a competitor because government is out there looking for those funds. Every week, I sit here and I read how much government expects to take from the, how do you call it, the treasury bill market, you know, and obviously people look at those ones and they look at the returns, 90-day and all that, and they look at that, and for them, it makes more sense to go and play there rather than to go and buy shares in Casapreco or MTN or Lithium or others. That must be a worry.
Look, it's very important that government is funded.
Yes.
Government needs to be funded so that our public service works. The use of the money that government raises is to pay emoluments, is to return, is to make returns on the money we've given in terms of the treasury bills we bought or the bonds that we bought. And for the longer dated bonds, it's to go into infrastructure projects or things like that that can pay back those investments. So government borrowing everywhere in the world is the largest. We hear about the size of the US Treasury securities. But the private sector also has to step up. And the component of what we are trying to address is how little the private sector's issuance of public securities is on our markets. Because the private sector, we say, is our engine of growth. It's our engine of growth. And if this country is going to do well, if we are going to transform, if we are going to develop as fast as we want to do, then it means that the private sector must get the right amount of capital that they need at affordable and competitive rates as well. In the last few years, we've had a challenge. 3 years ago, government treasury bills were about 13%. They were in the low teens. The longer dated, the 5-year bonds were about 16%. You'd see that even the banks were giving a lot of credit out. Okay. And the last 2 or 3 years, we've had a bit of challenge, as we all know. And the rates have gone up. Of course, like as you said, the rational person looks at the short-term opportunities because we don't look at, no one is expecting this to persist for the long term. But even as we look at the short-term opportunities, we also have to take into account that we must fund the private sector. So as the economy, I feel very strongly that as the economy does better, as interest rates come down, because today I can't imagine which private business can sustain production or business at paying 30% for capital. They can't. Those rates must be in the teens, in the low teens, before we can be competitive, before we can take advantage of AFTA, before we can push our industrialization policy. The only thing left is for them to source foreign capital. And if they source foreign capital, it has impact also on our currency. So that's why for us, the Ministry of Finance, the Bank of Ghana, and the business associations, AGI, Chamber of Mines, etc., we must all come together and see what are the real policies we need to put in place. If government has to borrow to pay civil servant salaries, needed borrow at 28% and chase inflation. Must government, why do we say that it's government that has to give us real return? Government needs to borrow, it needs to make salaries. If there was a mechanism where it it could take what it needed at 7%, at 10%. And we look for the real return by investing in corporates at competitive rates. So they can grow. For me, that is the area that we need to look at.
Okay, but let me bring you in, Martin, as we try to wrap up on this. You're always frustrated when we speak about this. I want to call it domestic financing, or if we say indigenization of our mining industry and all that. And you always highlight pension funds because of what exists elsewhere. Now you are aware of where the pension funds are.
Yes, but Randy, to answer that, so perhaps you will have to help us here. Senate collects money. I mean, by 15th, 400 workers, income, their money is gone. So maybe she has to tell us. And what I know is that pension funds are starting to be corrected because I've been following these things. They diversify their portfolio. You don't put everything. So is there anything that is stopping SNIT from putting their money there? Or let's say some of the public institutions or even private institutions, as a way of motivating their staff, have introduced Tier 4. There are some Tier 4s running now. Why don't we take some of the money there? So perhaps she can answer. Is there anything that stops SNIT from taking some of our billions there? Do you understand that? So that in the event the share price goes to even 6 cedis or even 10 cedis, they cash out and say, okay, I put in 1 billion, it's now worth 4 billion. Let me take 2 billion and pay some pensions, and let me still keep some 1 or 2 billion. Abna, you have to tell us.
Yes, you're spot on, Martin. And in fact, their regulator
has actually come up with guidelines in terms of how they need to invest. And that's why I said
the NPRA?
The NPRA requires that many of them have to invest in what we call the real sector of the economy. And so since DDEP, I mean, previously we thought government securities were fail-proof.
That's what we're taught in school.
I know, all of us. But I think we've now learned our lessons. So to speak on behalf of the pension funds, and through they have a chamber as well. And over the last 3 years, GSC has actually engaged the sector a lot, as well as their regulator, and we are getting a lot of collaboration. They are ready to invest in these companies. Some of them are now investing in venture funds, so partnering with the Venture Capital Trust Fund and other private equity funds and putting some money to back for private equity. But majority of their investments, because it's public money, there are 2.5 million of us contributing through the various schemes, including the Tier 3. Because many of us are investing, or the funds are public money, our money, we require that many of them must come to the people who want to take this money must come to the stock market, where the governance requirements are more transparent, are more accessible, to ensure that the best and good corporate governance requirements are being met. And that is why we are engaging the private sector. That is why we are engaging state-owned enterprises. There are beautiful state-owned enterprises like Ghana Gas, TDC, SIC, Ghana Re, etc. Strong companies, good performance track record that are very easy sales today, right? And profitable. And all of them need money for growth. They need additional capital for growth. So we think they should be on the market. Take our pension fund money, give them a percentage holding in these companies, and grow and develop the additional housing schemes or infrastructure projects, etc., that they need. Those that are not yet in the health to come to the market, they are willing to work with government and their advisors to structure them, come up with a solid business plan that if we put in front of you as a potential investor, you buy into it and say, here is the money for the turnaround. And so even on this mining asset class, in February we had a big training session together with the Chamber of Mines for our fund managers. We went to visit for the first time, And almost none of us had ever been to a gold mine operations before. Asante Gold hosted over 30 fund managers at Chirano and BBN. For the first time, we saw a gold pool. Can you imagine? Something we've mined for hundreds and hundreds of years. None of us have even been anywhere close to it. And so they are coming around. But the issue they have today is who's stepping up to take the money? Where is the private sector companies that are stepping up and putting their hands up? That's why we're very excited to see Casapreco come. Their offer was oversubscribed. They registered a 600 million program. Their offer was oversubscribed. They raised money at lower rates than government is paying on the equivalent instruments.
When was this?
This was just this March.
Okay.
Just this March, Casapreco raised 100 million from our pension fund managers at cheaper than government is.
Yeah, they've learned their lessons from DDEP.
Very well. Lesego came to the market.
Lesego was South African?
Lesego is, yes, it's here in Ghana, through your mobile money. They are giving small loans. They've given over 5 million loans to Ghanaians and SMEs through their mobile platform using AI, supporting businesses here. They came and raised 150 million. Another company has raised also money. Other institutions have announced plans to raise about 1 billion Ghana cedis on the market today. So we encourage, that's what excites us. We encourage that if we work with the pension fund managers, educate them about the opportunities. They will begin to put some money towards this. But we must continue to fund government. But for me, the issue is the rate at which government borrows. Because that rate becomes the benchmark.
It's just desperation.
For everything.
So one of the viewers sent me a text. He says, it was just a one-liner. He says, please ask why it's so difficult to sell your shares. That was just a text.
And they are spot on because there are too few actors in the market.
Explain that.
The few actors means that you have bought. Where are the buyers?
Yes.
Today on the Ghana market, we have about 200,000 people with direct equities, shares, accounts in what we call our depository. Too few of them. Like you, many of them buy and hold. So the day someone steps onto the market and wants to buy some, Randy is still holding on to his ETI from years ago. So that's another educational point we are doing to support people to understand that the best way to
I've not even
money.
checked to see how much it's trading for.
Exactly.
Whether it makes sense to sell now or what.
So
I mean, I don't play there.
These are the things we're doing. We've realized that the fastest way to do that is to put a tool in your hand.
Yeah.
So if you had an app on your phone every day that you click on and check and see what's trading on the stock exchange, what's the news release. We are working with the market operators to launch tools like that and bring the market closer.
I'm checking Forex every day, but I don't check the
stock exchange. And in fact, we've actually also launched what we call the GSC Trade Watch.
Okay.
So today, right now, from the internet, you can see what's happening live on the floor. So that's the first thing. The second thing is if you want to sell, when almost 100% of our money was in government securities, who was stepping up to buy?
True.
So that's what we call the actors. The third part is that, okay, if you want to build the best investment portfolio, you should have a diversified portfolio. There should be all the key sectors of Ghana on the market, the mining sector, the telecoms, the agriculture sector, agro-processing, all the key sectors must be there. The different sizes company, big ones, small ones, startups. And as we build all these pillars up, then it will make it attractive for more investors to come in.
Right.
So that's why we are really pushing on our educational programs, our policies to get more companies in, our direct engagement with the companies, our investments in technology and tools to create immediate access. It's a medium-term strategy we have, but I think overall, if we don't get our macro economic situation right, there won't be any savings. There won't be any expansion of businesses by companies either.
For an investment, a risk-averse population like this, I mean, you always have...
Randy, I challenge you, Ghanaians are not risk-averse. We are the most aggressive
risk-averse when it comes to buying
we are the most
shares.
Aggressive risk takers. Some of the pyramid schemes I've seen Ghanaians go after.
Yeah.
Some of the most dangerous things I've seen Ghanaians go after.
The quick...
Randy, can I add a few?
Yeah, please. I was going to ask you to give us the benediction.
Yes, so let me just talk on this risk averse thing.
Yes.
Randy, it's just that I cannot mention names. I'm saying they are very wealthy Ghanaians by virtue of mining.
Okay.
Let me repeat. I came to Minerals Commission 2nd April 2002. That's a Monday. So you're talking about some 22 years ago. What I'm seeing now is not what I saw even 5, 10, 20 years ago. There are people, you see, mining is all about patience. If you can treat mining like marriage, you'll be there. Mining.
Repeat that.
If you can treat mining like marriage, patience.
Okay.
So there are some, to wrap up, you see, and you don't necessarily have to go to the stock market. The other two options.
Which are?
Institutions can even go and give you money directly. So let's say Metro TV, maybe after Abnan's assessment, she will say, oh, you guys, when I look at one or two things, you are not there yet. Or you don't meet some of our requirements, go back and do X, Y, Z. But perhaps your people are sitting on $20 million. And here you are, the strict requirements of the stock exchange rules means that perhaps you tick the box for 10, not all the 12 she wanted. So on the basis of the two, go back. You can take that money and approach a company and say, hey, particularly those that are about building the mine, okay? And say, I'm going to give you $20 million. You produce the gold, give it to me. You understand that? Or I'll take equity. So I'm saying Asante got $100 million CD equivalent from an institution in Ghana here. And the agreement was I gave us gold. They finished giving them the gold. So I asked myself, let's say if 10 years ago, okay, or even 2 years ago when the price of gold was $1,500 an ounce, and SNIT has taken $10 million, or even just $5 million, and say, I'm giving it to gold mining company. Why? Take it. I'm going to buy gold. So SNIT bought gold, $5 million 2 years ago. Or even last year, Randy. And then the gold is held in maybe some vote in one of the commercial banks here or Bank of Ghana. Or they can decide to put it in Switzerland or any other place. If they are selling today, and the price of gold announced is more than 2,300, the account will say they are almost the scam. So apart from the stock market, there are alternative mechanisms, metal streaming. Okay, sometimes you say, I'm going to give you $40 million, and then me and you agree on a reduced price of the metal. Some would like to buy the metal from you and use it as raw materials for something. So some refining, all these mechanisms are there. So I'm even saying, look, if you don't want to go to the stock market, okay, because that's a requirement now, LI 2431, within 5 years. Unless SEC and GSE says we are bouncing you, then you have to come back to Mincom, and then on advice of the minister will give you some extension. But if you come and tell us that Abner has rejected you, but you are holding $30 million or $5 million, because we're trying to look at $100 million as the minimum where if you hit that, you have that, you qualify to go, or you must go and list. But she may also have to look at other requirements. SEC also, Security and Exchange Commission, they also look at other requirements. I'll be comfortable if you can tell me that, look, SEC has rejected me, GSA has rejected me, but I've given that $30 million to, let's say, Goldfields, and they'll give me gold. You understand that? You can also buy gold and hold. Because my worry is the interest rate. Randy, you know something? Newmont, if they were building a Half-North, which I'm saying it will be ready a year from now, middle of next year, you will see a 300,000 ounce mine, which will increase our production. That same project, that is not the same interest rate they will borrow in Australia, because they look at the risk profile. You see, so the more we, if you like, cajole or force them to raise the money here, then nobody will go and give them, nobody will give you interest rate 3%, 4% to come and build a mine in Ghana here. You are joking. But they will get 1%, 2%, 0.5, etc. because of their risk profile. So company will get 1% or 2%, okay, money, $200 million in Australia. The same company building a bigger project here, 10%, 12%. So we are better off because they will take their money back. And then what do you charge them? Withholding tax or what? Look at Goldfields. Goldfields is the 6th largest producer of gold in the world. Takwa mine, that monster mine, Takwa, which does more than 500,000 ounces a year, is the biggest among their portfolio. Okay, so 2% or 1% interest rate in some other jurisdiction to build perhaps a mine, half of the production of Takwa. But then if you say they should come like this joint venture, assuming we approve it or it goes through, the interest rate for the various monies they are going to raise, and you're looking about what? Billions of dollars to build that JV. The interest rate they are going to get, they say, oh, Ghana, high risk. So Scotia Bank, some hedge funds or something, they'll be quoting 12%, 15%. Even though look at your currency risks, political risks, and political risks, they don't even look at Ghana per se, even though we are the safest. They will say, oh, Sahelia is within West Africa. That's why anything that happens to our neighbor must be of concern to us, because they use them to judge us. So that's what I'm saying. Go and buy gold and hold it. So if Senate was holding gold, Charlie, they have, like you will be selling and be paying what? Some of the pensions. So you don't necessarily have to go to the stock market. If you don't want to go there, then tell us how you are raising money. Because the bottom line is indigenization of the sector. Because I am tired of people meeting in the street and say, oh, foreigners own our mines. So the stock market route, ownership of Ghana bauxite, the Asante situation, and more of that. Give us 5 years, we'll get there. So you are coming here, maybe I'll be retiring, or in 5, 6 years' time, or even 10 years, we'll say maybe there are about 20 gold mines in Ghana. You mentioned one, so Ghanaian state participation, 15% here, 30% here, 100% here, 40% here. Then we can say we can arrive. If you top that with the local content, where more than half of their receipts are spent on buying supplies, you keep them here, then you can now say that yes, money is beginning to benefit us the way we can speak boldly about it in Australia, in Canada, and other jurisdictions. Right. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So thanks, Abner.
Thank you.
Thanks, Martin. And Abner, I look forward to engaging the stock exchange. I think that, you've had this opportunity because Maincom has decided to engage us to do this Thursday morning thing to enlighten the public and provide some information clarity as far as the sector is concerned. I think that it's an opportunity that you must also take advantage of.
Absolutely.
So we can also do something like Ghana Stock Exchange, because I've learned a lot. There are many things that I have learned today. And if I have learned a lot, you can imagine a lot more that everybody else, including myself, can learn. We can know, and then also...
Are you planning to buy?
Planning to buy what?
Shares.
Oh.
Go and sell the other one and come on.
Don't worry, I'll sell my football club and then I'll come and buy gold.
No, all these are products we are bringing to the market. To give, in fact, there is one product that's giving access to gold, and MIF is working with us to put on another product.
Okay. So there's a lot for us.
There's a lot
we can do.
There's a lot going
So let's partner and get it going.
Yes.
Absolutely.
All right. So thanks, Abner.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Martin. Thank you, viewers, for listening to us, and we'll continue the engagement.
All right. Okay.